Hello and welcome everybody back to another round of PoGoRaids PvP draft, season 15, the Master League Champs Division. I'm joined today by Math Magic 10, aka Timmy, aka the Math Professor. He's a scholar and a gentleman, and he's taken time out of his busy schedule to help join us and unpack these matchups. Timmy, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, really looking forward to some interesting battles today. You know, draft always provides us with a unique opportunity to see mons that we don't typically get to see in GBL or even in
Mhm.
Sylph formats. So we have a very diverse range of matchups today that the viewing audience, well, I know a lot of us are from PGR, so they're familiar. But for those who are new, if you don't know, PoGoRaids has a very avid PvP draft section of our Discord, and we organize these tournaments just throughout the year, multiple times. What you're seeing right now is our Master League draft division, specifically the champs. This is the highest tier. We have different competitive tiers for every league, Master, Ultra, and Great. And what you're seeing right now is the Season 15 draft. Of course, the perennial powerhouses, familiar faces of GBL go first. So we've got Dialga, Lugia, Zacian, Giratina, of course. But as we go through, the more powerful mons become more scarce, and people have to
Mhm.
dig deeper into their inventories, into their boxes to pull out, coverage that will be helpful to them. So I think you haven't seen any of these teams yet, Timmy. So now
Right.
that you get to see the full range of them, what teams do you like the best? Who do you think put together the best compositions?
Oh, that's hard to say. I do like a good Zacian.
Hmm.
And like so for Cabana with Zacian and Zarude, it basically could cover up the entire meta. And oh man, so hard to say. I
Yeah,
do
I know
love
I'm
a good
putting you on the
Machamp as
spot right
well.
now.
Yeah.
It's
Do love a good Machamp. And Polion is a very weird pick because I didn't even think its CP went up that high, but good for Empoleon and Mewtwo or Armored Mewtwo. I didn't even think that its CP would go up that high to compete for Master League.
Armor Mewtwo has a very decent stat product for Master League. I think the thing
Yeah.
that holds it back is the it's locked into using Confusion.
Hmm.
And I think the success of like psychic types in GBL, like Mewtwo, pretty much comes from the ability to fire off a lot of charge moves, and that the fast
Right.
move pressure from psychic isn't the best
Hmm.
generally. But
Hmm.
in draft, I think you'll find that Armored Mewtwo finds its fair share of matchups and is a good addition, especially good value in the
Yeah.
final round. So,
Right.
with that in mind, let's take a look at the schedule for today.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just saw a quick overview of the standings, as they are now. But here's the matches that we can expect for today. So you'll notice multiple people will be playing more than once.
Hmm.
It looks like Oscar will be playing twice. It's just how we decided to schedule the matches that are displayed, just because there's so many contestants. 10 in in even some of the leagues. We have
Right.
to. Some people will play more than once a week,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then the next week it'll rebalance, and then other people will play more than once.
Okay, that makes
But we're gonna
sense.
have we're gonna have Oscar twice, Chris twice, um, Heater twice,
Hmm.
Stefan twice. We're gonna
Hmm.
get through a lot of battles today.
Yeah.
And with that said, let's take a look at the first matchup.
Okay.
So, what comes to your mind when you look at these two teams? Who do you like for this? What team comps do you think will work best?
So let's see. Okay, so Dutch Goku's Palkia certainly has an edge over Groudon
Hmm.
and Metagross, right? Like the Aqua Tails can get to the Aqua Tails fast, but it's going to resist all of the bullet punches and the Meteor Mash. Um, the Empoleon can take care of the Scizor, the Gardevoir, the Zapdos. At least from my mind, I'm just trying to extrapolate the data from like Ultra League and Great League. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure Empoleon's like stats like might give it some trouble in Master League, but
Hmm.
uh, yeah, like I don't know. whether Walrein is going to put up that big of a fight outside of Landorus and Zapdos. But I'm interested to see what Heartbroken is going to bring onto
I
his
think,
team.
yeah, from my perspective, I think like the Zapdos is hard to bring just because of the Groudon and the Zekrom. On Heartbreaker's side, I'm liking Dragon Tail Groudon. I think that will give you a lot of pressure against the Palkia. It gives you pressure against the Landorus. Now you can farm down Zapdos instead of having to throw Fire Punches, just because Mudshot is very difficult to farm down Flyers with. You lose some of the pressure against Gardevoir, but like Shadow Gardevoir is so squishy, I think that's a fair trade. And you
Right.
can't get to the fire punches as fast against like Scissor, but that doesn't really matter. And
Mhm.
Meloetta is still like pretty neutralish matchup. Zekrom I think is exceptionally strong. It can hit everything very hard with
Right.
Crunch and Wild Charge.
Mhm.
And then, even the Metagross, I think, has play because there's two bodyguards for Zapdos, and even giving Landorus a lot of trouble. Metagross with
Yeah.
Psychic can hit, the Palkia. If the Zapdos for some reason does come, it can hit the Zapdos. You don't even really need Meteor Mash per se. You could go Psychic, Earthquake, or you could just go Meteor Mash Psychic. The Scissors squishy. I don't think you really need to have Earthquake dedicated to that, especially when Scissor I don't think performs that well against the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Um, and Before we get into this first match, let's just take a quick look at the standings table just to get a refresher. And for those who are new in, we can just see the placement of everybody.
Right.
We have Oscar currently in the lead, followed by his
Okay.
brother.
hmm
And then Heater and Chris, a close 3-4. The middle of the order, at this point, the race is sort of out of their hands for first. But, I would say from 5 to 10, everyone's sort of playing to be in the division for
Right.
next season. If you don't know, we have a pro rel system. So if you don't perform well in any given division, if there's a lower tier available, you'll be relegated, and then people who do perform well will be promoted. Um, so I would say at this point, Flume to Dutch Goku, they're all in danger of or being sent back to one of the competitive divisions and out of champs. Um,
Mhm.
but for the middle of the pack, they're just trying to maintain their position, I think, to have a chance at winning next season. And the race really is between Oscar, Stefan, and Heater at this point in time.
Okay. Mm.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at the first battle. Let's see what they decide to do.
Yeah, let's get into it. All right. Heartbroken is a Dutch Goku. What will be okay? Metagross, Shadow Metagross into
Shadow
Landorus
Metagross,
is
yeah.
not the greatest, but it's not the worst type of matchup either. Switches into Groudon. Groudon with the Dragon Tail.
Yeah,
Dragon
he has
Tail.
with Dragon Tail, he'll be able to take Switch here at the cost
Yeah.
of a shield.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I would say is it is dangerous to go down a shield though against the Landorus, or he can play out the zeros here,
Right.
which actually I think makes a lot of sense because he wants to keep those shields.
Yeah, this is an interesting play because like you can throw this Earthquake, either take out the Palkia, take a shield, but then the Metagross can come in. Oh, plays out the zero. Very nice. So you win switch without having to sacrifice a shield here.
Right. I expect
So
Landorus to come in and farm down though. Getting ahead on energy is going to
mhm,
be kind of challenging. I think probably the Zekrom will want to come in just because it can put more pressure. Yeah, okay.
right.
It's better in the twos.
But this is kind of I would say like kind of like in a weird advantage here for the Landers because yes,
Mhm.
they're throwing super effective moves, but they're taking
Ooh,
a lot of neutral damage from the Dragon
yeah.
Breath, and oh my goodness, it is adding up.
It is
Here
adding up, but
comes.
they did get the defense debuff. You
So
could
here
see
comes
a rock
another.
slide bait here at this point. Oh, he's going straight Earth Power. Interesting.
Yes, I mean I don't think he needs to be worried here. As if they throw the crunch here, the Landers could potentially shield and throw another Earth Power and take out the Zekrom because it got the debuff on the first Earth Power. Yeah, so here he comes with the Earth Power.
He's gonna sack.
Oh,
He's gonna sack this Metagross. That might be a mistake though, depending on what's in the back. Metagross might have a better matchup than anything that's left over. It is the Zapdos. Okay. You got
Yeah,
to go for the full farm down here, and he is running Psychic to be able to hit that.
very nice. So I'm pretty sure the
Um,
Zapdos here.
it's walled, but it's up
Right,
energy and a shield. I
exactly.
think 3 Drill Pecks will kill.
So here comes the first drill peck. Let's see how much it does. About 25%. Yeah, one more and it should be fine.
You're gonna need. I think you need two. Yeah, you got to go for
Yeah,
two Drill Pecks here. Gonna shield up the crunch and outpace to another Drill Peck before you can get to another charge move. So this Zekrom is finished.
yes. It'd be interesting if they don't shield and then see how much the Dragon Breaths do. Yeah.
At this point, it's still not in crunch range actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
like you could have lived that.
Right.
But why take the chance that he goes for the wild charge nuke? That would be his win con in that situation.
That's true.
So it's just a safe shield, and
Mm-hmm.
really well played by Dutch Goku. Excellent shield management, in my opinion, to be able to put his Zapdos in a position to take out what would have otherwise been a hard counter.
Yeah. I think probably though, maybe he could have considered taking the one shield with the Groudon and have
Mhm.
energy to just fire punch away on the Landorus, because having to take an Earth Power on two Pokemon that's like super weak to ground was probably disadvantageous.
For sure, and I think he had gotten rid of the one thing that doesn't have to fear fire punches at
Mm-hmm.
that point, so he was going to be able to chunk away with that charge move damage and anything that was left over. So I think probably taking switch, but at the cost of being farmed down, was not worth it. Maybe he should have went down a shield just to preserve some health. Is there anything you can think of that Heartbreaker might employ in game 2 to tie this up?
Um, I'd probably bring in the Walrein. Um, considering that like most of his team is either weak to Walrein or is
Hmm.
going to be taking neutral from the ice moves from Walrein.
I kind of like Walrein as like a safe swap.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you lead Zekrom, right?
Right.
Zekrom beats Palkia. It beats
Mm-hmm.
Meloetta. It beats Zapdos. The only things you really would need to switch out of are Gardevoir and potentially, if you don't want to use your shields early, the
Right.
Landorus. So the
Mm-hmm.
Walrein can force out the Gardevoir and the Lando. You can
Mm-hmm.
bring out something like the Palkia, or if it even better, the Zapdos, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
force the Zapdos to shield and get farm with it with Zekrom. I think
Yeah.
probably his best chance to win this is to have energy on Zekrom for the end game. But yeah, let's take a look at game 2 and see what he decides to do.
Okay, Groudon into Palkia. So again, not a bad matchup because he has Dragon Tail. He could play out the one shield here, and I think that would be probably the best play. And
Could go for an
maybe it
Aqua Tail
seems,
catch.
yeah, maybe it seems
Okay.
that Dutch Goku probably has the same lineup again with Landers and Zapdos in the back. So here comes the Aqua Tail. I think so. He's gonna play out the zero shields,
Yeah, makes
but this
sense.
is a little bit like, I would say Groudon plays out the zero shields if it has a bit of energy, right? You can see that it didn't get to the earthquake, needs to throw this fire punch, does not live it, and will go down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zekrom doesn't have to shield anything at this point in time, so he's gonna get a
Mhm.
little bit of chip, plus a Dragon Tail. That might come into play later if the Lando comes in. It's possible with the Mud Shots. It really only needs. Okay, so he's just gonna switch right away. I think winning switch and then switching out to avoid the farm down is gonna end up being costly.
Yeah, but I don't know what he might need the Palkia for. Maybe as a shield at the very end,
Yeah, as a
because
third, I think it was worth it to just let the farm down occur. The Aqua Tail plus the Dragon Tail that you would have gotten, I think you can probably just rock slide the Zekrom.
right.
But now you need two to take out this Walrein, and it only needs one Icicle Spear to take you out.
Hmm. Hmm.
At this point in time, I think for Dutch Goku, pretty much the only thing that's going to save him is having like Gardevoir in the back.
Right. I think that was an interesting play to not shield the first rock slide. I would have probably double shielded and just farm all the way down and have enough
Mhm.
energy to take out the Palkia and whatever the third Pokemon is. Here comes the Zapdos. Ooh. So yeah, Zekrom is just going to totally wall the Zapdos now. But um, would he have been in a better position had he just stayed in and like not give up switch?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because at this point in time, the tables are turned. This Zapdos
Right.
isn't doesn't have a shield advantage and doesn't have enough
Hmm.
energy and health to really
Right.
do and like the double resisted Thunderbolts. I think it's probably better to just go for like as many drill pecks as you can. So
Hmm.
double drill peck I think is better than double T-bolt. But it really doesn't matter. The Palkia just doesn't have enough health to finish this game at this point.
Right. Definitely agree.
Giving up switch, I think, was a big mistake. It sucks, to let things get energy like that. But
Hmm.
sometimes when you know you need certain alignment, it's just, and you have to assume that there's a Zekrom on this team. You know that you just well you already saw the Zekrom. You just have to know that I have a Zapdos in the back. I can't switch lock my Landorus and then be met by not Zekrom. If the Zekrom
Right.
had stayed in, then this could have been a good strategy to avoid letting the Zekrom, get an energy advantage, right? If he had like say Metagross in the back,
Hmm.
and then he can't really switch. But making that call and proved to be pretty costly in the end. So we're tied up 1-1 now. This is a best of four, which means of course both parties have a chance to tie at the end. But let's see who can pull ahead here in game three.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Metagross into Zapdos. Again, this is a fairly neutral matchup, right? Like,
It's a little bit
but he,
favorable to the Shadow Metagross that it has Psychic. It's good in the zeros.
yeah. So opts to switch into Walrein, and the Palkia here is definitely doing a lot of damage with the Dragon Tails. Here comes the neutral Icicle Spheres. Walrein versus Palkia. This matchup is like not the best, but it's
It's not,
also
yeah.
yeah, but it's also like it would I would say it would prove to set up the Metagross at the very end, right? If he decides to let the Walrein go down.
Right.
Because at this range, Metagross can farm all the way down and not get hit with an Aqua Tail. I don't even think an Aqua Tail would KO the Walrein here.
It's not. He's gonna have to Dragon Tail this thing down now. And he's gonna
Yeah.
get to because he switched in so late. It's gonna be able to get to this Icicle Spear. And you have to think to yourself, like, well, I really can't have my Zapdos on the Zekrom at this point in
Right.
time. So he's going to
Right.
go for the shield. This is particularly dangerous now, because the Metagross can comfortably take an Aqua Tail here. I expect
Hmm.
this is going to be the full farm down. And
Yes.
he's going to come out not quite at a move yet, but ready to throw the Psychic into the Zapdos. Oh, he has the Draco. Oh, he stored
Oh.
up a lot. Yeah, he has the Draco. Okay, but
Oh.
even still, he's gonna hit the Zapdos really hard. I think you throw that move. Honestly, it's probably like your best chance to really get that damage off. But he has the Metagross to sack later now if he needs to.
Right. And so Sekrom comes back in, or uses a shield. Moa takes a shield with the side shock. This is an interesting play here.
Mm.
He's gonna throw the crunch, hoping for the debuff, but definitely throwing the super effective crunch onto the psychic type. Moloetta
It has to
opts to
shield or it'll
shield
get
there.
farmed down. Yeah.
Yeah, opts to shield, preventing the farm down, and then going for the crunch right away so that Moloetta will definitely get fainted here, and then definitely is going to wall the Zapdos, and most likely he's going to throw the stab wild charge, even though it's neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. And you can comfortably take this drill peck here too, so this
Mm-hmm.
isn't really a problem.
Right.
It's just you can't farm down either, and you kind of need to because that Metagross is almost out of move, and he
Yeah.
still has the shield left over, so you can comfortably shield at this point in time and just go for the wild charge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
And that's just that's just going to be game over. There's really nothing that Dutch Goku could do at this point in time with this alignment of that energy. and that amount of health is just too difficult to deal with the Zekrom. Kind of need,
Mm.
honestly, you kind of need the Palkia to fight, to have fast move pressure against the Zekrom. Sure, you lose because you're at a health disadvantage, and as we know, in super effective fast move races, whoever has more HP typically will win.
Hmm.
But the Meloetta can very comfortably handle Walrein. So if he had
Right.
responded with the Meloetta into the Walrein and then saved the Palkia to be able to just chip away at the Zekrom to make it more manageable to handle
Hmm.
later, I think that would have been the best. The
Hmm.
only real disadvantage would be the farm down that could occur from the Metagross meeting the Meloetta. So really, you want to try and come out of that matchup versus the Walrein as low as possible.
Right. That makes sense.
All right, so Heartbreaker has gone up a game now, 2-1. Goku, of course, has a chance to tie. Let's see if he can even it out in game 4, or if Heartbreaker will take the set.
Okay. Hmm. I wonder what adjustments both players are going to make here for the very last game. Definitely, Heartbroken Kid wants to try to get a 3-1 here. Maloetta, oh,
Oh,
into the Metagross.
that is
That's
a
really bad.
brutal lead. Yeah,
Yeah. But now,
we're
what
gonna
is
have to
he?
see. He's in. So the Palkia, of course, is gonna come out. Um, the one thing that's dangerous though is you don't really want to switch right away because as
Mhm.
Heartbreaker is finding out, switching into a Dragon Tail is really unpleasant, and that sort of negates the health advantage that Zekrom has. Um, of course, he can still win the zeros, right? But now Goku, I honestly, I'm not sure he even needs to shield this. He's getting rid of the Zekrom could free up something in the back for him to win, but he's gonna decide to keep switch. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm surprised that well, yeah, it does make sense. But now Metagross has an opportunity here to farm down the Palkia.
Yeah.
And will Heartbroken Kid make that mistake again? Oh, doesn't even get to a charge move. So that's really
No,
good, fortunate, without having to throw a shield up. But now Metagross is going to opt to throw the Meteor Mash, or the Stab Meteor Mash.
you're gonna have to
Uh,
shield this as well. Of course, the Landorus on the Metagross is favorable for Dutch Goku, and then he's
right.
gonna have the Meloetta for the Groudon in the back. But the problem is, at this point in time, he's out of shields. He's out of
Hmm.
shields, and he's a bit out of luck here
For
because there's
sure.
nothing this Meloetta can do to one-shot this Groudon, and it's going to reach this Earthquake.
Nice
And
shield by Heartbroken Kid. And then Groudon here is going to opt to throw the Earthquake, fainting the Meloetta, and then potentially now just
yeah,
finishing off the match with fire punches or even with the Metagross at the very end.
yeah, he has. I mean, he has the shield advantage. He has two Mons with that are fairly healthy. This Landorus is done. This like I
Yes.
mean the Groudon isn't even in like Earth Power range, right? It
Hmm.
could easily live this. You're gonna reach the Fire Punch, and then it just bullet punches down, and then that's a good game here from Heartbreaker. Really, really impressive performance. Went down in early game 1, but was able to pull it back at the end, uh, solidifying the 3-1. And we're off to a pretty solid start here from this first round of battles.
Very nice. Okay, so next up is Cabana versus Heater. So this should be a very interesting matchup to see, right?
Yeah, I think so. This is like there's like a complicated interplay of Mons here. They
Hmm.
both have a lot of like counters that sort of have a cross-sectional coverage of each
Hmm.
other's teams. I think like for example, the Zacian is very strong. Obviously, it's going to come every single game. There's no
Right.
disadvantage to bringing it. The standard moveset of Play Rough and Close Combat hits everything, so
Hmm.
you don't need any special tech here.
Right.
And the Heatran gives you another wall to Dialga, right?
Hmm.
If it does opt to run the Draco Meteor, which it might, because that would allow you to hit like pretty much everything really hard except for Zacian, which you already have Iron Head for. The Heatran also gives the Zacian protection from Jirachi, which might end up being very important. Of course, like on heater side, I actually think the Regirock looks pretty good. Regirock has a very close matchup with Zacian. It's really able to hang in there, and it outpaces the Stone Edges, come faster than
Hmm.
at least the first close combat. You can
Hmm.
easily take a close combat and then start, time your throws to come after Zacian after it's debuffed itself to do more damage. Of course, I think the Lando is particularly strong. It does well against Ashian, as we all know. Always has the option to superpower and bail out of like a Zarude lead or something like that. Does well against the Heatran, which I think will probably come into play here, and having that extra coverage for Heatran could be useful. And I think overall the Lando will probably come every single game. Jirachi may come most of the games. It does have bodyguards for Heatran. It's not like Dialga's matchup against Heatran is that terrible. It's actually pretty good, and it even wins zeros
Right.
with optimal timing of when you throw the Draco.
Hmm.
So I think, heater side, I can see the Lando, I can see the Dialga, I can see the Jirachi, I can even see the secret Gust tech from Yveltal. That puts a lot of pressure on Zacian. It's actually pretty favorable because the Snarls aren't doing anything and one player up won't kill you. And this gives you a much more comfortable matchup against Zarude.
Right. I would like to see this Gust on Evolto, and you can take out uh you can have a big advantage over Terrakion as well, maybe with the Gust play.
Mm.
Yeah.
That'll end up being losing for the Yveltal, but certainly it would do significantly more damage to the
Right.
Terrakion. The Terrakion's going to
Yeah.
be a little bit difficult to bring, I think, with the Jirachi.
Hmm.
And it doesn't even have the best Regirock matchup. That's like a bit complicated. And of course, the Lando is absolutely dominating. Dialga, you can actually do some work though. Those Sacred Swords really hurt
Right.
from Terrakion's attack stat. So if you could farm something down and come away with energy, Terrakion's energy is pretty valuable, I would say, against this team. It can hit everything pretty hard.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's see what the contestants decide to do in this first game.
Okay.
Okay.
So Zarude into Landers. Not
Mm,
the worst matchup, but it's gonna be quite difficult for the Zarude to come out of this.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. So I'm pretty sure Landers is gonna throw the superpower and then bail
You
out.
would just superpowering and bailing makes a lot of sense. You can, of course, you outpace to
Hmm.
the first power whip. You can
Right.
do a lot of damage, and then the gust. He doesn't see the move set yet, so now he's saved. He's swapped in Zacian as the counter, but he's taking
Mhm.
tremendous damage from this basically Dragon Breath clone as a 4-turn flying move. Um, player off wouldn't KO. Shielding, of course, to preserve health makes a lot of sense. I could just see a full gust down at this point in time.
Oh, throws the Dark Pulse. But yet he does get to the last player off here. So now Yveltal is now at a very interesting spot here. Could either take it or opts to shield. I definitely opts to shield. Probably would have lived it, and then farm down.
Would have been
And now
able to live that, yeah.
yeah, Yveltal now has a bit of energy here, and
And a lot of health. The Heatran coming back out is going to prove. I mean, it's like a little bit problematic.
mhm,
I think like you're gonna have to call that this is not a focus blast, of course. But he goes for the safe shield. It is tempting to go for, but I mean, even the gusts are adding up on this, and he over farmed by so much. Being able to throw off 2 Dark Pulse is certainly better than going for the focus blast and having it shielded.
mhm. The oh, Heatran, nice over farm, but opts to throw the Stone Edge at a completely random time, and then Landorus taking that Stone Edge, which might be the benefit of for Landorus here. But now this, what is this Zarude gonna do against the
It's gonna
uh
have to throw. Really can't farm too much here. You're gonna end up taking this move.
yeah,
Um, and then
unless
I think what you have to do is actually not use your last shield here because um you kind of have to have the Heatran farm the Landorus down and go for another Stone Edge just because you're completely walled. This Yveltal
well
completely walls the Zarude.
Yeah, but Heater still has another Pokemon left, and well, Cabana only has the Zarude and the Heatran. I think he
Yeah,
needed to shield there. There's
there's
no
really
way that yeah,
there's
okay.
just nothing he can do at this point. I think with these like yeah, there's not enough health on these Mons to really be able to finish this game.
Yeah. If he was
So
able to get off that Dark Pulse at the very end, maybe the flamethrower could have
yeah,
taken out the Dialga. But
you
yeah,
know,
I think opting to switch into Zarude or having that catch Heater catching the Stone Edge there was definitely the game winning play for Cabana.
yeah. But I mean, even at that point, I think it was he was in a very tight spot with a full health Dialga in the back,
Yeah,
really able to take any move from what any of the remaining Pokemon could throw at it. Heater
right.
taking a very convincing win in Game One with a great catch to help
Hmm.
solidify that. But it was a very difficult comp for Cabana to deal with. I expect now going forward that the Yveltal safe swap won't work anymore because Cabana can simply reply with Heatran now, which is a much more comfortable matchup in terms of pacing, resisting the gusts, and not having to fear those quick focus blasts that come out of a Snarl variant.
Hmm.
So let's take a look at Game 2 and see what adjustments Cabana can make to get back in this.
Okay, so coming in with Milotic into Landorus. Oh, very good matchup. Unless this Milotic is running Dragon Tail, then oh yeah, it is Dragon Tail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, coming in with the Heatran, he does now recognize that it is Gust. So the Heatran here is at a pretty good advantage over the Yveltal. Throws the Stone Edge over the Yveltal. Will Yveltal shield here? I believe it still lives the Stone Edge
I think
comfortably.
you're gonna want to keep the health for sure. It makes a lot of sense to use the shield there. Um, I just don't see why you would want to stay in this for too long. You know,
Hmm.
throw the move and then bail makes the most sense.
Yeah, so Heatran here throws the Stone Edge, the second Stone Edge of the game, taking out the Yveltal, and now coming back in with Landorus here. And the Landorus is going to definitely farm down the Heatran, unless
Yep.
Heatran can get to the second. Oh, gets to a Flamethrower, opts to throw the Stab. Flamethrower, definitely neutral. But Landorus here is at a pretty good advantage by farming down the
Mm-hmm.
entire, or by farming down Heatran and having all this energy for the Milotic. Um, Opting to throw here. This could be the superpower. Will Milotic shield the superpower and be able to farm down the Landers? Oh, opts to throw the Stone Edge. Pretty good play. And
Yeah.
then Landers again with the second move. This could be now the superpower because he won't be able to throw back-to-back Stone Edges. Here
And
comes the superpower.
you're easily taking this, but
Mhm.
same time, like what more can you do with the Milotic at this point in time? But just gonna use
Right.
it as like a meat shield.
Hmm.
Um, it's a little unfortunate that you're not gonna be able to quite kill this Dialga with one close combat. Um, and
Well,
then the
after
snarl
this
down will be a little
farming,
bit difficult. Yeah.
yeah, after this farming here, you're right. They probably would have just been better throwing the play rough and then farming down. Actually, no, that actually does work. Farm down here without taking an Iron Head, and then throwing the play rough here for the stab charge move onto Landorus.
Yeah.
Very well played
I've
by
been playing a
Cabana.
little bit too much open where you can't quite kill a Dialga with one close
Hmm.
combat and you can't snarl it down before it gets to another Iron Head. It's very annoying. But yeah, in classic you can in fact do that.
Yeah, very well played.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
we've got two games down and a 1-1 tie between the two. Timmy, you know what would you do from either side? What do you see to try and take the lead here?
I'd probably try to be a bit unpredictable here and throw something that is a bit uh, well, knowing that Milotic is running Dragon Tail, right, instead of Waterfall, then Regirock probably has a bit better play against the rest of the team, as you pointed out earlier. And so I think having Regirock from Heater's side is going to be like a game deciding decision here.
Makes sense. Let's take a look and see what either side can do to try and pull ahead in game 3.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Okay, so Zarude into Landorus. Again, not the best matchup, but you know, it's definitely okay on both sides. He has to be aware of the superpower here, opting to throw the superpower and then switching. Cabana has definitely seen this play before, so opting to not shield the superpower. Lander switching into Yveltal, coming into the Heatran again. So it's definitely the same plays as the second game.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, if you have a winning formula, why deviate?
Right. Opting to throw the Stone Edge here. Now, will Heater repeat the same tactics by shielding the first Stone Edge just to get off a move? Does. Okay. And then you also here throwing into the Gust and a charge move. Will this be the Dark Pulse? Yes or no? Opts to shield, shields the Dark Pulse.
Fully expecting the Dark Pulse. It makes a lot of
Exactly.
sense just because you want to be able to pressure the Heatran to throw sooner rather than farm up, right? Like we haven't seen Heater's second move on his Yveltal yet, so we still don't know if it is Focus Blast. But like going for the big move and having it shielded really puts you in a difficult spot because now the Heatran knows it can comfortably farm.
Right.
This is still anyone's game at this point, but the Landorus coming back in. This is
Oh, and
going to
then here
be...
comes the Regirock. Regirock,
Ooh.
oh man, gonna take on the full power of Zarude here. Zarude might opt to shield just so that they
Yeah.
can throw off these superpower power whips.
Well, you're in Stone Edge range at this point. This is a bit annoying, I would say, just because like this power whip won't KO, of course, and you can't really farm down. You can't farm down with Vine Whip at this point, so you're really gonna have to throw both. And the other thing is you're getting outpaced, so you can't go to back before another Stone Edge is reached. So of course Cabana will throw and take out the Regirock before that can happen.
Now here comes the Landers. Ah, man, I don't think this Landers can quite possibly take out the Zacian in the back here. Here comes the Stone Edge
It's
taking
gonna
up.
be difficult, but the thing is you still have a shield, and Cabana doesn't have a lot of fast move pressure in the back.
Right. So if
Which
Cabana is keeping track of the moves here, oh man, I would have swapped to catch a move and force a CMP tie here. But
yeah.
this is like it, there's no reason for Heater to shield there. Okay,
Well, this
maybe they needed to
this
shield.
would do a lot. Yeah, you kind of have that flamethrower does a lot.
Right, but then the Snarls aren't going to like. There's no
They're not
way
gonna
the
do
Zacian.
anything, but if you don't shield that flamethrower, you're gonna get snarled down.
Right.
And like if you don't if shielding it, you're gonna have to take the player off. You're taking a hard hitting move either way, but the flamethrower should do, I think, a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, Heatran has a higher attack stat than Zacian. I actually could be wrong about that. I forget. Now I forget. But yeah, that was gonna be difficult anyway. Like there's too many moves for the Lando to handle, and the full health Zacian was like a little bit too difficult, I think, to handle at that health range. Cabana going up a game here, so now Heater's on the back foot. He needs to try and regain something to get back into this, or Cabana's going to run away with the whole thing. So what do you think Heater can do to try and get maybe more safe matchups for his Pokemon to get into? I think maybe the Veltal safe swap isn't really working anymore.
Right. I think I think they Heater needs to utilize the Regirock or have Yveltal in the lead and basically not let the Landers get farmed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Cabana has led Zarude twice now, and so having Yveltal in the lead is definitely going to be more advantageous than not.
And
Um,
chat pointing out that Z has quote unquote way more attack. I think it's like a 2 point difference at level 40. Heatran's like 210 and
okay.
Zacian's like 212. I haven't played that one out in a bit, but I knew it was pretty close between the two. So if you had like a lower attack Zacian, then you a little bit more.
Mhm.
But like the moves, they're both base 90, you know, flamethrower and play rough, so they're probably they're gonna be doing about the same damage. So it's like at that point it's kind of like a pick your poison when we're shielding. But anyway, let's take a look at game 4 and see if Heater can make an adjustment here and perhaps stop locking his Eveltal into the Heatran.
Okay. This is not this is a pretty good matchup for the Zarude. Um,
You know, this
but will
actually
the
isn't that
Virizion
bad for Zacian, or
Mhm.
for the sorry, the Virizion.
Virizion?
The
Yeah.
Snarls aren't doing very much. One player off won't KO, and the Leaf Blades are quite spammy and add up. So despite the sort of anemic uh stats of quick attack, you know, you're gonna find that you actually get a lot of pressure applied here.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't stay. I don't think I would personally want to stay. To have to like shield a player off just because like um the deer has such a dominating matchup against Zarude, which is probably come. So why use up your shields?
Right. But
Well, Heater's making the call to try and apply as much shield pressure as he can.
oh, Cabana has to opt to shield here. This would be a good shield to throw the player off and grab the second shield or put the Virizion super low in health.
Yeah,
Oh, Keter op, I believe, swapped into Landers. Yes,
taking
Optin swapped
advantage
into Landers.
of the desync to
Right.
preserve the health on the Virizion, I think is going to prove to be really valuable. The Zarude's going to
Mhm.
come out and is going to have to throw at this thing. Not going to be able to farm down. And you'll have to even use a shield too.
Very good
Which I don't
counting
think
by
is worth it
the
because all that energy is just going to go into the Virizion.
right. Very good counting by the Landers. Throwing the superpower way before the Zarude can throw a charge move, and now um, taking the second. What? Wow! Taking the second superpower.
You
Ting
kind of
ting
have
by
to,
the
right?
Landers.
Because if you farm it down, where does all that energy go? It just goes into Virizion, right? So it's just
Right. Oh man. But now Yveltal is back with the Gus. Okay, so Zacian here throwing the play rough. Completely fine.
yeah.
Most likely he's going to
You
take the
let this
last shield
go,
here.
and I think you put all of your stock in. Well, he's not gonna let it go. I think you personally put all of your stock in Virizion to take out
Hmm.
what I would have personally assumed for there to be a Heatran in the back.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Virizion is pretty close to a charge move as well. So opting to not shield the Dark Pulse here,
Right.
uh, taking out the Voltal with the Stone Edge, and hopefully the Seatran can get to a Flamethrower by the time.
I think it's going to get outpaced. I mean, the Virizion has a lot of energy. It needs 2 Sacred Swords to take this thing out at this point in time. Need to avoid the
Ooh,
need to avoid that CMP tie on the back to back, but not quite able to get there. I think probably shielding the Veltal was a mistake and really uh needed to save the shield for the Virizion to spam the Sacred Swords.
yes, I definitely agree. It was definitely a tough decision, tough matchup for Heater. But again, the Virizion was an interesting choice at the very end there,
Mhm.
mainly because Cabana has the Heatran and has brought the Heatran in pretty much all three battles. I don't even think
Right.
Cabana strayed away from his three Pokemon.
No, I mean he had a core that he really liked. That worked for him. I just like from my perspective, the Virizion really isn't that bad against
Hmm.
Heatran. It
Hmm.
loses, you know, it's gonna lose ones with Sacred Sword. I don't know what the other charge move was on the Virizion, right? Apart from the Leaf Blade,
Yeah,
but you know, either way, Sacred Sword it has like a fairly close matchup, especially with like a move denial in the ones against Heatran. You can't quite kill with 2 Sacred Swords. But you know you can always like threaten the close combat, for example, and bail before the
right.
Heatran has a move. And the other thing is it completely walls the Zarude. So if that matchup happens, right, and that's locked in, now you can comfortably take all the moves Zarude can throw your Sacred Swords and go for a quick attack down to have energy that you can then spam into everything else. The Leaf Blades certainly add up on Zacian, as we saw, and Heatran doesn't really want to take multiple Sacred Swords.
Mhm.
But that was a good
Very
job
true.
by Cabana to really negotiate that, because that could have been a difficult situation for him. But moving on, we've got Chris versus Stefan. This is Stefan's first battle of two today. And I'd like to take a look at this matchup.
Okay. I haven't yet seen. Uh, I forget this name. What was it? Flomantis, or is it something else? I keep
So
forgetting the
Mantis,
name.
I don't think we'll be seeing that used in
Yeah.
this, but that is in fact a Florges on Stefan's team.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, but let's see. So Crispy, or sorry, Chris has okay, so Genesect might have some interesting play here, depending on what drive it's running, right? If it is running the fire type drive, it can have great play against the Excadrill and the Heracross.
Hmm.
But Lugia has some interesting plays against Gyarados and Swampert. Uh, it's going to be tough to kind of handle that Excadrill if Chris doesn't align it well with the Farfetch or the Rhyperior. And I'm interested to see what moves he has on Mew. But maybe Stefan can kind of like try to see or draw out the Mew and figure out what his movesets are, and then figure out a game plan for games 2 and 3.
Yeah, for sure. From my perspective, I think Stefan has like a very dominant matchup here. Obviously, the Lugia on Chris's side is good, but he has a very frustrating coverage distribution, I think, between the Giratina, the Gyarados, and the Excadrill. It's kind of hard to bring the Genesect, just because you want to be able to hit everything hard, but you can't. You have to make a sacrifice. Like if you want to have the shock drive for the Gyarados, well, now you're walled by the Excadrill. And if you want to
Mhm.
have, the uh, burn drive for the Excadrill, now you're walled by the Gyarados. Those two Pokemon in particular are going to be very frustrating. Even if you have Magnet Bomb for the Giratina, it's still a very dominant matchup for Giratina. It doesn't care about the Fury Cutter damage, certainly, and the Magnet Bombs, while they do add up, Giratina easily paces, and you don't want to take the Shadow Ball. So I think I would just bring Giratina, Gyarados, Excadrill every single game. The Excadrill, all three have play against Lugia. Um, Especially Shadow Gyarados with Crunch can apply a lot of pressure to the Lugia. The Mew, I think, has play, but there's no moveset that can beat Giratina in even energy and even shields. So if he brings Mew, he's gonna have to find a way to either get a shield advantage or an energy advantage going into the Giratina if he wants to have a chance. And the Rhyperior has to make a decision with a trade-off between Smackdown for the Gyarados or Mudslap for the Excadrill, but either way, it's going to come in with a double resisted fast move into one of those Pokemon, which provides farming opportunities that I don't think Chris will appreciate very much.
I definitely agree. Um, but yeah, I'm interested in seeing what the matchups are and how they both play it out.
Let's get into game one.
Okay, Gudra into Gyarados. Okay.
It's like
Um,
a fairly neutralish matchup in the zeros. Obviously Gyarados can invest a shield and simply win. But
mhm.
he's gonna opt to go to the Lugia safe swap, patented. What I don't like here is that he's going to eat a crunch. And I think this is going to be particularly annoying, just because one, you can always get the defense drop, and two, Excadrill can just
It
swap in
definitely
now.
got the
Yep,
defense drop here. Oh
and
man, this is
this is
so bad.
unpleasant.
Right.
Aeroblast will do a lot, but Drill can, it's full health, it can definitely take it. If Stefan decides he'd rather have shields, uh,
Oh, opting to
then
shield the Aeroblast. Interesting choice there.
makes sense.
Uh,
Now you can farm up quite a bit without having to fear being hit by a hard-hitting charge move from Lugia. With this
mhm.
defense drop, I think you can just rock slide this and mudshot down without being air. Oh, Chris really wants to get this arrow blast off, but I don't think Stefan's gonna let him.
Yeah, he could opt to shield the second time, which he does. But by the time he gets to this Aeroblast here, I mean, Excadrill could definitely just shield, but I think the Excadrill is gonna. Oh, tries to catch the Rock Slide,
Oh, this is gonna
but
be
couldn't
costly.
throw here. And this is definitely going to be the drill run onto the Mew.
This is this is gonna be very
Oh,
costly now, and
yeah.
he's down a shield. He's down a shield, and I think he's in a position where it's probably better to not reveal this Mew set yet, if you will. I don't think I would even throw this at this point. I think this game's over. He's
Mhm.
up a shield, and you're in the zeros now against Giratina, which this team has no ghost resist. I think this is like this is just a terrible place to be.
Oh, and then here comes the Giratina farming down the Mew. And then what does he bring in? Gudra? And then try to catch an Ominous Wind or a Shadow Ball?
I think you got to take the damage on the Gudra here and hope that you can throw your move into the Gyarados, but the Gyarados is still quite healthy too. You can't shield this. It could be, you know, Stefan I think is probably just is running the double ghost set, but
Mhm.
oh no, he does have the Dragon Pulse. He
Oh!
went up for it. He has the Dragon Pulse. This is just brutal now. Sky Attack Gyarados can easily take. In fact, at this the health range of everything that's left on the table, there's really no incentive to even shield this, so it's a questionable bait. Gonna have to throw again to get rid of it, but Gyarados is just gonna go ahead and throw now. Um,
Right. I
Aquatel
think,
won't take this out, but a Crunch certainly will. Goes for
yeah,
okay,
I
only
think,
has energy for the Aquatel, but this is all over. There's just not enough health left on these Pokemon to win.
yeah, I think even if he threw the Aeroblast and took out the Gyarados, the Giratina, farming down the Lugia, and
Hmm.
then I don't know, maybe if he could have gotten that last shield and then get to this Draco Meteor, I don't even think that's
Yeah, it's just too difficult. I just don't think you throw here and reveal what you're running. I
right.
mean, Stefan will probably assume it's Draco and maybe assumes the Power Whip for the Excadrill,
Mhm.
and just have something cheaper to get to against Gyarados. But either way, there's no win con. So I think he probably shouldn't have even thrown the move from the Mew. I think it was pretty clear based off of the health and the shield disadvantage that it was already over at that point in time. Chris is gonna have to be really careful, I think, going into game two. To
Mhm.
not be at a shield deficit, which will be difficult, but to not be at a shield deficit against Giratina now that it's revealed that Giratina has double nukes, so it can hit everything very hard.
Right. So then at this point, I'd probably bring in the Surfetch,
Hmm.
because now you know that it has, since it has the double nukes, like you're not afraid of the bait, and so you can possibly just shield and just double,
Try
triple
Night
night
Slash
slash.
through it.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's bold. That's a bold strategy. I mean, I
I
think you
would.
could catch the drill. Maybe if you could farm a drill safe swap down, yeah, you could spam some Night Slashes or even a Brave Bird at the Gyarados.
Mm-hmm.
But it's risky. I think because it works both ways. Where the Surfetch, having the wrong alignment is very farmable, and then that energy is just going to kill everything.
Yeah.
So let's see if Chris can get back into this game in game two and find a different solution. We
Okay.
see the Rhyperior. Oh man! All right. Well,
Oh,
what
very
moveset does
nice.
this have? This is very. If it's not Mud Slap, then we gotta go. It's
Oh,
Smackdown. We gotta go
oh
right now.
no!
This is
Not the
terrible.
SmackDown. Oh no! I wonder
Forced
what
to
he
swap this
needs the
in.
SmackDown for.
Smackdown for the Gary. I think I guess
And
he would prefer to have the fast move pressure for the Gyarados over
I
the
think
Excadrill.
so.
But either way, I mean, you have to pick your poison here.
Yeah. So Lugia definitely taking the rock slide. It doesn't need to shield quite yet, uh, but this is going to be an interesting play here. Will he go for the Aero Blast? He does. Now Excadrill has a decision to make: either take a hard hitting Aero Blast, which will put it into like the 30% range, or shields.
Shield
Actually, that
no
might have
boost.
KO'd
It would have
the
been pretty close to KOing at that point in time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Excadrill here opting to farm up just a little bit more past the rock slide, and now has energy against the Rhyperior if it comes back in. But the
Gonna have to
Gudra,
go Gudra, I think. You pretty
Gudra is
much
gonna
have.
have a hard time too, with
Yeah, because you're gonna
Dragon
take.
Nemesis.
You can't farm this down without eating two drill runs, which Gudra could take, but I expect a shield to be invested here.
Yeah,
Um,
Actually,
And then
I wouldn't mind Gudra just shielding the drill runs here and just farming all the way down, and then having a Draco Meteor for whatever comes in. Oh,
gonna
opting
have
to
to
come in with
stay.
Giratina.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He can just even sack this at this point in time. He has the Excadrill, which walls the fast move of Rhyperior in the back, which is pretty frustrating. But
Hmm.
he does actually correctly shield this. Oh man, I don't know if I think if you're gonna bring in the Giratina to make the Gudra dump, I think you probably just want to sack it, and then you have a debuff Gudra now that you can farm down with Gyarados, and then have Aqua Tails ready for the Rhyperior.
Right. But now, Rhyperior here opting to throw, uh, as or trying to get to the rocks wrecker, and then Giratina here throwing the Shadow Ball. No, we all know that it's going to be rocking the nuke moves, and so I'm surprised that there was no shield there to preserve the health of the Rhyperior.
Hmm.
But great counting, throwing the rock wrecker right before the Giratina can get to the Shadow Ball again.
Yeah, I think he
And
wants to say. I think he wants to keep the shield for the Excadrill potentially.
right,
But this is
so
gonna be tough.
now,
Everything is low.
man, this is definitely
Comes
a
back
tough
in with
matchup
this.
here.
Mm.
Okay, takes out the Excadrill here, throwing the Surf, and now we get to see. Oh man, how is Chris gonna take out the last Pokemon here?
This Gyarados is gonna be really. There's just not enough in the tank at this point in
Yeah,
time. You won't reach this move. Rhyperior gets one smackdown off and then succumbs to Dragon Breaths. Yeah, there's just
yeah,
too difficult. Had to save the shield for the drill at the end, so taking the hard-hitting Shadow Ball is too low to do anything at that point in time. And Rhyperior loses CMP to Excadrill, so over farming and then winning the CMP tie was not an option.
hmm,
That was just so far. It's just been very difficult for Chris to find ways to get alignment or get usable energy, just because Stefan has such a frustrating core, right? Where
right,
like he can't have, the Rhyperior now cannot find the drill. The Lugia has a very hard time against all three of the Pokemon. It's good against all of them, but also weak to all of them.
hmm,
And then what do you bring as like the last mon? He has Dragon Pulse for the Gudra. He has Gyarados and he has Excadrill, right? That can go toe to toe with it. And the Mew, it's even with the Rock Slide, it's still not a great matchup against the Gyarados. And now it doesn't even have anything. I mean, Stefan doesn't know the full moveset yet, but it doesn't have anything to hit the Giratina with. So
right.
this is just this is a very difficult spot for Chris to be in.
Yeah, and then having to reveal the rock fast move, Swampert might come in and have like a good advantage against the Rhyperior and possibly the Genesect if Chris decides to bring in the Genesect, or even the Mew in this case.
He's gonna have to find something at this point, Timmy, because things are not looking good right now. Let's get into game 3 and see if Chris can find some kind of hope. Dig deep. Dig deep for this win.
Hmm.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sees
What
the
do you do?
Excadrill again.
Maybe you want to try Gudra this time instead of Lugia and save the Lugia for later, but he's gonna opt to stay, threatening to catch. No. You know what?
What a catch!
You could easily
What?
bait the Rock Slide here and force the Rhyperior to shield. I wouldn't even be surprised if he throws Rock Slide. He doesn't though. He did go for it. Okay, that catch might prove to be game deciding with that energy he's saved now.
Yeah, but like the thing is, okay, that was a very excellent catch. And now Giratina here opting to throw the Shadow Ball. Lugia has to shield. Now it will Lugia go for the nuke and win this one shield with the Arrow Blast, or go for the double Sky Attack? Oh,
Ooh,
okay, baits the
goes
Sky
for the
Attack here.
bait.
It's
I
not.
kind of like this play because if you
Mhm,
actually do get the shield here, you can land the second Sky Attack, right? You know the
right.
Giratina only has nukes. It's gonna have to throw the Shadow Ball at the Lugia. You can farm it down. I think energy is going to be more important than winning Switch here.
Definitely agree. So Lugia here could opt to shield the Shadow Ball farm all the way down, and then have a Sky Attack for the Excadrill, or he can opt to catch the Rock Slide onto the Rhyperior. No, never mind, never mind. Okay, that's not the play that he wants to do
I think farming here
with
is definitely
Rhyperior.
the right play. Okay,
Okay.
so now the Rhyperior is loaded. One Surf will not kill the Excadrill, but he's
Oh
gonna opt to
man.
take this move on the Florges. This is gonna do a lot. Florges is not what I would call a Tankymon. He does decide to shield. Makes sense. This is a little awkward. Kind of have to stay here.
Yeah.
And need to be careful to not throw a Rock Wrecker into the Excadrill and return the favor.
Disarming voice here. And then, well, all shields are down, right? Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't you switch into Gudra right now? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. This makes a
Saving up some
lot of
energy here.
sense. Expecting the catch,
Uh,
and uh, Rhyperior is going to be able to Rock Wrecker the Florges in the end game, and
but
Gudra
I
will
don't think.
not die to two. Uh, it's not going to die to two drill runs, so you'll be able to reach the Power Whip and get this off and farm down.
Yeah. Or they could opt to just Draco Meteor the Excadrill. Will a Power Whip KO here at this
The
point?
Power Whip plus the breaths is going to be enough. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But then Florges is just gonna farm down and get to a move onto the
It
Rhyperior.
will. Rhyperior wins CMP against Florges pretty handily, and it is definitely in Rock Wrecker range.
Yeah.
It is for sure in Rock Wrecker range. This is yeah. This is over.
Very well played. Oof. What a well
Florges
played
is
match there.
like Florges is like medium. I would say Florges is like medium bulk. It's not
Hmm.
like ultra tanky. It's not like super squishy, but like yeah, it doesn't appreciate the rock. Rock Wrecker is neutral, but I'm sure it does over half.
A very nice adjustment by Chris. Like catching the rocks moves. And I think he has to basically make those same plays again.
Mm.
And what would be interesting is if he catches the Excadrill in the beginning again with his Rhyperior, and Stefan is like, well, he's gonna try and catch the Rock Slide, so I might as well throw the Drill Run. Uh, or sorry, he's gonna catch the Drill Run, so I might as well throw the Rock Slide. He could probably catch the Rock Slide onto the Surf Edge and then have a resistant move there. I'd be interested to see that play.
He's going to have to. It's clear to me at this point that in order
Mhm.
to win a game, because the round cannot be won now, right? At best, he can tie. But in order to even win a game, Chris has to outplay Stefan. So like the bar, I think for gameplay is much higher for Chris, and Stefan simply has to show up with his team to win
Right.
this set. I think at this point he just has a dominating team comp. So we'll have to see if there's any more magic that Chris can pull out of the hat here for Game 4. And let's take a look.
Mhm. Okay, Mew into the Excadrill. Okay, not a bad place to be in with the
No, but
Surf, but
Chris
Stefan
finally
knows.
catching a bit of a break here, and he drops Lugia. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but Stefan knows that he has the Surf, so he's opting to throw the Drill Run first. No Protect Shields from the Mew. Mew is
Chris
going
knows
to
he
farm up.
loses. He knows he loses CMP, so he doesn't go for the CMP
Mhm.
tie, which is smart, just in case Stefan decides to catch. Has the
Right.
Rock Slide now for Gary. Could farm up here and then go for a farm down with something else, but okay, he's just gonna go into Rhyperior. I actually don't like this play. You can live in Aqua Tail just barely, so the best play might be to let this go. But either way, the drill's gonna get farm now, which I think is gonna be very uncomfortable.
Hmm. But at least you have a Surf and you can earn back the shield.
You
So
can
throwing the
earn
Surf
back the
here.
shield, but at the cost of great energy deficit. I mean, this Excadrill can completely farm this Rhyperior down now. I mean, you don't even have to shield this. You can live it.
Hmm. So takes a shield from Stefan. Excadrill definitely farming all the way down without take.
Mhm.
Wow, Rapier almost got to that last Surf there. And which will he come in with? Mew? Just
I
to
think you
absorb
have
the
to go
damage?
Mew to take the damage. I think you need to
Yeah.
assume. Oh, you
Oh,
need to
opted to
assume
come
there's a
into Gudra.
Giratina in the back, I think.
Yeah. Like there's no way that the Giratina is not back there. And so he throws a drill run here. Chris is definitely playing it a bit risky, having catches the drill run onto the Mew, believes that the Mew is worth the
He could
sack
even the
here,
thing is he could undercharge this though and then just mud shot. Oh man, he's just gonna undercharge and then
and then
get some
farm all the
energy.
way down.
Yeah. Okay, he switches to Giratina for the farm down. Makes sense. This
Yeah,
is very uncomfortable because you're gonna have to invest all your shields here, pretty
right.
much.
And
To
like
to
Gudra, what's Gudra gonna throw? The Power Whip, the Draco Meteor. Like you might as well just shield and farm and throw as many Shadow Claws as you can without throwing a charge move.
Yeah, I think he wants to get rid of all the shields so that he can come in and drill run this thing. And like for Chris's side, he has to commit to the full farm down
I don't
and
even
hope that
think
he can double power whip. But it's just not. I don't. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't even think throwing
Yeah,
the charge moves was that necessary there. Had he
but he gets
just
to the third
thrown the
one.
shadow
Yeah,
claw, yeah, had he just thrown the shadow claws, the same outcome would have happened. The Gudra would have fainted, and the Giratina would have just absolutely dominated there. It's too tanky. The Dragon Breaths were just not that strong on the
yeah.
Gudra, but it was a
And
well played
especially at
effort
that
by
health
Chris.
range, especially at that health disadvantage that Gudra found
Yeah,
itself in, having to fight the Excadrill first. I think, you know, I think you kind of had to use the Rhyperior to fight the Origin in the back and use the Gudra to farm down the Gyarados.
right.
I think that was probably the
Or
best play because
just
that would have been difficult for Stefan to come in with because now you can power whip the Excadrill or threaten the Draco against the Giratina.
yeah. Or not throw the rock slide and have the Rhyperior just farm down the Gyarados, opting to shield and have two surfs for the Excadrill. I think that's
Yeah.
probably would have been as well a good play.
It was, it was an uphill battle from the very beginning. I think Chris did well to take one game off Stefan from what was an otherwise dominating set. And
Hmm.
let's take a look at the schedule and see what we have in store for us next. Chris suffering that heartbreaking 1-3 defeat to Stefan. We now have Stefan's brother Oscar going off against Chris. Chris fighting the couch back to back. This is a brutal gauntlet, I think. Let's take a look at this matchup and let me know your thoughts. I certainly have a very strong opinion on who I think is going to win this one.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well we know the moves on the Mew. Are they allowed to
They
TM?
can TM, yeah. So if you don't know, for people who are new and just tuning in our draft formats, we allow TMing in between rounds, sort of similar to like Silpharina. So the Mew can have now a completely different move set against Oscar. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, and then I would say the Rhyperior may not need the Rock Throw anymore. Uh, well, actually, it might need the Rock Throw, right? The Rock Throw for
Like the
the
Avalugg.
Uvalog?
I
Yeah.
mean, if you go SmackDown for Avalugg, then you're giving up Mud Slap for Melmetal. If Rhyperior comes, I think Mud Slap is probably just the overall. It's at least neutral against everything and super effective against Melmetal. I think that gives you the best coverage. But Rhyperior, having to come against the Kyogre team
Mm-hmm.
is just I think this is very uncomfortable. Pretty much needs to find the Melmetal matchup, I think, to really have the most utility. It does have the good matchup against Sylveon, and wins zeros against Latios. So as a zero shield Mon, it's pretty good against a lot of the field, and obviously the Rock Wrecker is devastating to Avalugg if you could farm something down and launch it, but it's very risky. I think Kyogre from Oscar's side looks so strong. The only real check that it has is the Gudra because it can hit everything very hard. You can have Shock Drive on Genesect, you could have like a Grass Knot or a Wild Charge on Mew, but none of those are sufficient to kill. Leaf Blade on, from Surfetched is annoying but manageable.
Yeah, and I think, man, I really want to see what the Genesect is running, and like that could definitely play a role into how to beat Oscar.
Mhm.
Uh, but the Machamp is definitely something to fear. Like with having the Rhyperior um and the Surfetch, and then the Machamp could definitely do well against the Gudra, but I don't necessarily see Well, I guess the Sylveon can definitely take out the Lugia, but it just has to watch out for its charge moves. But this is going to be a very interesting matchup. It could be close.
For sure. Let's get into game one and see what Oscar decides to bring going into this. I know personally, I like Kyogre, Melmetal, and Sylveon the best, I think, but it looks like he has different plans with Latios instead. And this is like a fairly neutral matchup that
Hmm.
slightly favors Lugia, but Kyogre can certainly hold its own. And you always have the option of the catch on the Melmetal, which
Ooh,
which
what a
is
catch!
exactly what we're going to see here.
What a catch!
Because
Will this be
Chris
the sky
certainly,
attack though? It is the sky attack. Lugia opting to bait the sky attack, catching it onto the Melmetal, and now here comes the Mew, which is an interesting choice. You're fearing the superpower, so then the rock slides are definitely hitting you, but not too hard. And so we're gonna see what the Mew is running here.
I'm
Will
gonna
it be Wild
expect
Charge?
it's
Will it be
probably gonna be
Surf?
Flame Charge. I think if he's coming in with this, then he's gonna have something that can hit the Melmetal. And
Mm,
one nice thing is it'll ramp up the Mew's moveset. But it looks like he's
yeah,
building up. Maybe he wants to build up. Okay, no, he doesn't want to build up and fake a Focus Blast. I think he's just
yeah.
gonna go for like a Flame Charge here. That's my guess. Okay.
Oh, very nice guess with the flame charge. So I guess it shows that he didn't bring in Rhyperior, or Rhyperior is not running Mud Slap if he does have it in the back. But throwing these flame charges here, wrapping up the Muse attack,
Yeah,
and
he's at
then
+2.
yeah. So
I
now
almost think you go Latios to take these moves because I think you have to assume Flame Charge. It probably has something to hit Kyogre really hard. That is one of Chris's biggest weaknesses. He's not going to reveal what that move is, I think, and chooses
oh
to go down. Now he has the Genesect aligned on the Latios, but fails to swap out to predict this charge move snipe. Gonna shield that up. And I kind of think you need to get out of here.
so Kyogre here throwing into the Surf, into the Genesect. But now I'm excited to see what this Genesect is running here. Will it be the Fire Drive, the electric one, the normal one? What is it? X
Oh,
Scissor?
we get the
Oh.
bait. We get the bait. Oh man. Are we gonna get another X scissor here? It would make a lot of you should barely live this. If
Hmm.
this isn't CMP, Chris probably is better off saving this move and going to Lugia. I
Yeah.
think go to Lugia here and not throw this. Okay, he's gonna transfer the waterfall to Lugia. He's down a shield. This is a bit of an uncomfortable place to be in. Kyogre can definitely shield this and get the surf off.
Right. And then even if the Surf doesn't KO the Lugia, the Latios can farm down here onto the Lugia and not take that much damage from the Dragon Tails.
Yeah.
And then hopefully get to maybe one or two Dragon Claws onto the Genesect.
He's gonna
Yep,
switch
switching over
now.
here.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know
I
if
would have farmed
yeah,
down.
you can farm this. I think you can just farm this down and then Dragon Claw the Genesect. But either way, this Genesect is too low to do anything at this point in time.
Right.
Um, so there's just there's really nothing. I mean, this X Scissor won't even quite KO.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the breath that he got through on that is gonna be enough to finish Chris off. But even if it wasn't, he still has the Kyogre in the back.
That's true.
Tough first round for Chris. He needs to remember that flying moves are not very effective against steel types. Probably something I would do is build up to 10 and then just switch and just assume that Oscar is going to switch. I mean, if you really want to avoid the risk of taking the Blizzard or having to make first shielding decision, it's probably better to just switch out. But we'll see
Yeah.
how Chris decides to adjust. I mean, this is, I think, a tough matchup for him. He may need to answer that Kyogre with draw. Otherwise, that water damage is unchecked.
I definitely agree. But at the same time, I think like the Lugia should just throw the Arrow Blast. If they decide to catch, they're taking like a really big charge move, even on the Melmetal.
This is true, but I think ultimately that's a big use of energy on
Mhm.
something that you're going to have to flame charge if you decide to go in with Mew to resolve that. You're gonna have to flame charge it twice anyway. In addition to the Arrow Blast, he really needs to be careful with how he throws his moves. Let's take a
Yeah.
look at game 2 and see if Chris can exercise a little bit more caution. We have the Latios into the Mew. We know it has
Oh.
Flame Charge, but what's the other move? He may opt to just stay in. Oh, not
Oh.
even given the chance. Chris goes into his hard counter.
Okay. This is definitely fine. We still haven't seen the Genesect's second move yet, so throwing the Surf here onto the Bug Steel type of Genesect is really good play by Oscar. Opting to shield, and now do we get to the reveal of the second charge move, or will this be X Scissor? Opting to shield here for the X Scissor.
Oh man, he
Genesect,
just keeps
wow.
baiting.
Yeah, unless this is a single move Genesect with just X Scissor, I don't see like how
I
they can take out the Kyogre here.
I do not think it is single moved. I think at this point in time, we're gonna. Oh, and it's a
Oh,
Zap
the Zap
Cannon. He
Cannon!
has the nuke instead
Oh
of Techno
no!
Blast Shock, which I think is. I mean, he debuffs the Kyogre, but it's probably a mistake to have revealed that he has a huge nuke. That's very unwieldy.
And then
And
here
now
comes
he
the
has to
Lugia
go
again.
Lugia into this.
Yeah, if I was the Kyogre, I'd just throw the Blizzard. Like, what's the play here? I mean, throw the double Surf, but I'd probably just throw the Blizzard into the Lugia.
I think I would also just Blizzard it. He
Yeah,
has Melmetal. There's really no risk of him shielding the nuke because
right.
at the end of the day, after the Kyogre is dispatched, he has the alignment that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So this chip is all just kind of pointless at this point in time. We're in the zeros, and after this Lugia, Dragon Tails this Kyogre down, we'll have alignment with the Melmetal. So it's really up to the Mew now to close this out. So we'll get to see what the other moveset is. Or he's going to look to catch the Flame Charge, not
Yeah.
unable to do so. So
Okay,
what's it going to
Mew.
be? If it's a
Yeah, it's
move for Kyogre, he's just going to try and Flame Charge this thing down.
right. So
Okay.
that definitely looks like it's going to be the Wild Charge here. But I mean, it, both moves, I'm gonna guess Mew is that it's both resistant to the Latios, but at least with the Flame Charge, you're buffing up the Shadow Claws and dealing super effective damage here. So like here, Mew, right? He can throw another Flame Charge. Oh, couldn't throw the Flame Charge before the Dragon Claw,
This
but
is gonna put it into Rock Slide range, and you have a really big problem here in that Mew. Oh, and he loses CMP. He loses CMP here. Maybe he
mhm,
goes for the undercharge to try and come out with the move. But the issue is Melmetal wins CMP against Mew, so he's gonna have to catch this Rock Slide right away, or yeah, that's game over. And
yeah,
the problem is if you switch out to catch the Rock Slide, Mew doesn't have the boosted Flame Charge anymore, and he can always just undercharge the Rock Slide on Lugia to farm down and have another move for the Mew.
right.
So I just really think there was at that point in time there was really nothing he can do, and
Mhm.
I'm almost hoping that he undercharges this just so that he can get the superpower off and win in great style, but he chooses not to. So production, can we get like, can we take 1 point off Oscar's record for that play? Because I think that was a pretty egregious misplay. Yeah, I think we need to remove that. Thank you. Okay. All right, so Oscar losing a close, he had game 2 in the palm of his hand, but decided to give it up. That was really unfortunate because, it looked like everything was all locked up at that point in time. You really can't lose style points when you have the option to take them. You just have to take, yeah, put a half, give him a half win for that. I think that's probably better, not the full win. We're gonna give him a half win, for that egregious misplay. I think that's probably what's really appropriate here and all he deserves. So, it's always heartbreaking to see that kind of result. I mean, Timmy, what do you think we can do here for Oscar to sort of redeem that?
Honestly, I don't think there's much that Oscar to do. It's yeah, there's just really not much like so. For example, I think Chris should have, if he was gonna bait and he failed the bait, just don't reveal that second charge move. Like keep it for later,
Yeah.
and then like let Oscar think, okay, he doesn't have anything that's gonna be hard hitting on me anyways, and then just throw the Zap Cannon when it's gonna be more appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like at that point, it's definitely tough. And then same thing with the Mew. Like we haven't seen the second charge move yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Wild Charge. And the Rhyperior has to come back into play uh, if it has the Mud Slap, because we haven't seen that yet as well. And like the Lugia, we understand that the Lugia is definitely the strongest on Chris's team, but Oscar just has complete dominance with Kyogre and the Melmetal against the Lugia.
Yeah, I mean, I would say compositionally, this is very difficult. In addition to being weak to Kyogre, it seems Chris is also very weak to Melmetal and doesn't really, without bringing one of his stronger replies in either Surfetch, which honestly, if you're not carrying close combat, you just lose zeros.
Mhm.
Or the Rhyperior, which can fully farm down in the zeros. I think you're in a really bad spot. So I think Chris is gonna have to, and I hate to say this, but he's gonna have to play a little rock paper scissors here with Oscar to try and get alignment and get rid of that Melmetal. If he can get rid of the Melmetal, that frees Lugia up to hit everything really hard with Aeroblast. So let's see if he can make any adjustments going into game three. I mean, it's still anybody's game after Oscar gave up that embarrassing loss in game two.
Mhm.
Okay. Neutralish lead favors Latios, gets to the claws faster, and he's going to go right into his hard counter again. I don't know if I like these plays. But we already know that it's Zap Cannon. So
Mhm.
we're not being one shot by anything the Genesect throws.
Yeah, but the Zap Cannon does deal a lot of damage to the
Mm-hmm.
Melmetal, even though it's neutral. And you're opting to debuff the opponent, so it was a great shield on the Genesect, uh, so that to protect the Melmetal. And now here comes the Zap Cannon, shields it up properly, very nice. And then now this Rock Slide is doing less damage as well as the Thunder Shocks.
This Genesect should be able to take, I think, 2 Rock Slides at this point in time.
Mhm.
But maybe not a Rock Slide and a Superpower, which is probably what is going to happen here. Um, this is still kind of a bad matchup. I think for Chris, you could even double shield the Melmetal. Um, if
Oh
you
man, that
want
was very
to,
close.
or you can let this go. I mean, you'll definitely live it and come away with energy.
That's true.
Oh, and
Oh my
he's not quite
goodness.
at it, so he gets the last shield with the X Scissor, and then in addition to that embarrassment, he's gonna land a little chip, just as a going away present.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe he shielded that Exeter, knowing full well that you do live a Zap Cannon. And now here comes the Rhyperior with the Mud Slap. This is very nice.
Gonna get hit with a debuff superpower. Won't hurt too bad. Could definitely take
Right.
it. And he save
And then,
swaps into the Latios, which preserves the Melmetal, which may be key in the end if Lugia is in the back.
right. I'm actually surprised that Chris came in with Genesect the hard counter onto the Latios when he has like a neutral matchup with Rhyperior in the back.
Yeah, I'm thinking he probably assumed that Kyogre would come out and farm him, but that might be okay because you could farm down with the Gudra. I mean, it was going to be tough either way. Gudra is going to come back in. Um, you know, this is a difficult this is
Yeah,
a difficult position to be in, I
I
think, because you
definitely
have to
agree. Because
recognize all this energy is going into Melmetal now.
yeah, and like all the shields are down, right? And Oscar basically has a full health Kyogre against a Rhyperior that has Mud Slap, and it's not going to be well for Oscar. He's going to come in here, throw the Rock Slide, but it won't KO the Gudra. But Gudra here opting to throw either the Draco Meteor or the Power Whip, just to chip away.
It's not going to be
Melmetal
enough.
here is no, it's definitely not going to be enough. Opting to throw the superpower, get rid of the Gudra, or hopefully get rid of the Gudra so that they can superpower again onto the Rhyperior. But it's not even going to be enough to take out the Gudra. It's just
This
way too tanky.
This is bad. This Kyogre is gonna farm this Gudra down. You can
Yeah.
easily take a Power Whip or even a Draco.
Hmm.
This dragon does not have enough oomph behind it to take this out. You easily waterfall down, and then this Rhyperior is gonna be getting very wet very soon.
Oh man, now Kyogre with the surf. The last blow to Chris, and The Rhyperior is just gonna say bye.
Oh
Okay.
man, it always hurts to see, your ground rock types aligned with a water type in the end game.
Mhm.
That's just unpleasant. And now Chris is down in this round. Can't come back at this point. The best he can do is prevent the 4-0. And as I always tell people who watch these, if there's anything that you can hope to accomplish in your draft battles, it is avoiding an 0-4. Do whatever you can, scrape and claw back into the match with RPS. Just don't go down without winning a single game.
Yeah,
So
this
we'll
is gonna
see
be
if
definitely
Chris, yeah,
difficult for Chris to
we'll
pull
see
off
if he
at
can
least
do
one
it.
win here.
Uh,
Um,
let's let's just get into game 4 and see what happens.
yeah, so Kyogre into Surfetch.
Ooh,
Okay, this is not the worst matchup for Chris.
not the
If he has the
worst,
Leaf
not the
Blades.
best.
Yeah, that's definitely not the best. We can see the waterfalls here chunking away at the Surfetch, but the Surfetch definitely throwing on alignment, throwing into the surf. Here comes the Leaf Blade. I'm guessing? Yes, Leaf Blade. Kyogre with the shield blocks it up. And then now coming in with another surf onto the Surfetch. What will the Surfetch do? Will they shield here? I'm guessing Chris brought in the Surfetch for the Melmetal, but couldn't see the alignment here. And I believe Chris needs to save the Surfetch somehow, or else how is he going to get rid of the Melmetal?
He's gonna have
Uh,
to have like Rhyperior in the back. If that's the
yeah.
case, you can't switch out of this. You have to let the. Okay, okay. Here's an interesting idea. What
Mhm.
if the Gudra is baiting the Melmetal out for a
Yeah.
Lugia sweep in the back?
That could be a play too. I think Chris's plan was to get rid of all shields from Oscar's side, which he definitely did. But that Kyogre is still pretty healthy and has a bit of energy, and so coming in with the Gudra here, baiting out the Melmetal. Interesting choice to throw the Power Whip instead of just the Draco Meteor to like put it in farm down range for the Surfetch later because there are no shields in play. So
Mm,
once the Melmetal like takes out this Gudra, Surfetch could have farmed down and have a Leaf Blade ready for the Kyogre, or even the Machamp if he decides to catch the Leaf Blade onto the Machamp. So here comes another Power Whip by the Gudra. Um, and putting the Melmetal down into at least 25% health. And so the Melmetal definitely wants to. Oh, here comes the Surfetch
trying to
catching
snipe
the
this counter.
superpower. Very nice.
Trying
But
to.
I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
wasn't
that
low
would
enough
have
for it.
worked. Yeah, definitely was not low enough for him to snipe the Melmetal. And now Gudra has some play here by farming down the Melmetal and having a power up ready for the Kyogre, or even throwing it into the Machamp. Throw the move! Throw the move! Oh my goodness.
Machamp is going to live a Power Whip and be able to farm this
Yes.
down.
Right.
At
But
this point,
at least then, the Lugia here can farm down. Machamp running payback as a shadow
oh,
Pokemon. Oh,
not
it's the
Lugia,
Genesect! It's
not
the
Lugia.
Genesect! Uh, well, I believe we know what's gonna come here. Genesect here is gonna take a cross chop. Machamp throwing into the Genesect. Genesect is gonna definitely farm down before the Machamp can get to the second cross chop. And now,
Kyogre has energy though. Oh, this is
yes,
gonna be
what will
really
Oscar do?
difficult.
Oscar needs to have a plan here. He has 2 seconds to decide. What will he do? Comes into the Kyogre, throws a Surf into the Genesect. Genesect has to shield this with one last Protect Shield, and Kyogre here opting to throw the move and try to make a play here for the very end.
He's gonna
What
go into the
will
Melmetal.
Genesect? Oh my goodness! Genesect throwing a charge move here. Will it be the X's or will it be the Zap Cannon?
He needs the Zap Cannon to kill it, and then he needs to have an X Scissor because this Melmetal's gonna get a move right now if he doesn't have it. Oh man, he
Oh,
needed to. See, you know what killed him? If he had Shock Drive, I think he'd be able to stack the Shock Technoblast
hmm,
and the X Scissor for the Melmetal
right.
to win CMP against the Melmetal in the end game.
I definitely
So
agree.
really, I think Zap Cannon, it seems fun, but I just don't think it's that practical. That the expensiveness of that move really cost him in the end.
Well, I mean, you also have the chance to debuff, and I think maybe Chris thought that the chance of debuff is definitely worth way more than the cost of Techno Drive or
Yeah,
the Techno
but
Blast. Yeah.
it's the debuff. I think didn't end up mattering too much in the games that we saw it in, and I think had a chance to get back in at least with one win against Oscar if he just had the cheaper move, but takes a brutal 4-0 beating, and that's back-to-back losses to the
Mhm.
Couch Brothers from Chris. So that's unpleasant. Looking up ahead, we've got Heartbreaker versus Blue Anthrax, Kelsey versus Heater, and then Oscar again playing Stefan in the titular couch matchup. So let's take a look at the Heartbreaker versus Anthrax matchup now and get into this. And but before we do that, let's just take a quick look at the updated standings just to see
Yes.
where things lie. All right, well, we've got Oscar still in the lead, of course, after taking an impressive 4-0. Stefan beating up on Chris also has solidified his second place position. And Heater with the tie wasn't really able to progress too much and has fallen behind in the race. So I would say obviously Oscar and Stefan are the favorites to win at this point as long as they can keep their performances up. And then
Mhm.
hot on Heater's tail is Heartbreaker, who we're about to see play Blue Anthrax now. So we'll see if he can maybe get a win and start to move up himself. Could overtake Heater here for third place.
Oh, that would be interesting to see. So, we haven't seen Blue Anthrax just yet, right? So, the we have the Regice, the I'm blanking on its name. Who's that fighter?
Oh, Conkelder, yeah.
Conk Elder. There you go. I was like, what? Why can't I
No worries. That's why
talk
I'm
about his
here.
name? Yes. Okay. Conk Elder definitely going to take out the Wall Raid and the Empoleon, and the Regice might have a lot of play here with at least the Groudon and the Walrein itself. And so this would be a very interesting matchup to see here.
I'm looking at this and I'm thinking the Togekiss is a really good deterrent against
Mhm.
the ground, the two dragons, but has problems obviously against Metagross, Walrein, and Empoleon. Although actually the matchup against Empoleon isn't as bad as you would think, as Togekiss wins zeros against Empoleon. I know that's just it doesn't seem fair, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Blue Anthrax has a very strong Mewtwo with really no obvious check, and you can just run the standard Psystrike Shadow Ball moveset. Covers all of your bases.
Right.
I would also say that Garchomp looks very strong as long as it doesn't encounter the Walrein. And I think Heartbreaker is pretty weak to fighting, actually, in a surprising turn. With no fighting resistance, the Conkeldurr can safely come in. Mewtwo Conkeldurr, I think, come in every single game.
And if I was Blue Anthrax, I'd probably just switch, use Togekiss as my safe switch, and then just have Conkeldurr just farm down with shields and take the game. But let's see
Yeah.
what happens in game one.
Yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna see
Okay,
Groudon into
to
Garchomp.
Garchomp. Okay,
See
this is
if this.
not a bad matchup, but it depends on the fast moves, and so let's see what they do. Whoa.
It
Okay,
is
so they're both
Mudshot.
running.
They're both
Yeah.
Mudshot for some reason. Really? Okay. Well, this is favorable for Groudon now. You can easily take an Outrage or an Earth Power. I say easily, but like, I mean, it's not the most comfortable, but you can definitely do it. And
Mhm.
the Earthquakes are just devastating from Groudon. But he is gonna go
Yeah.
for the bait. This is a risky bait. I, if he has a hard counter for the Groudon in the back like Togekiss, I would let it go. Oh, he calls it. That is a costly bait there.
Wow. That was an amazing call. And now here comes Groudon with the Earthquake here. This is definitely a move that you want to shield.
Oh, correctly
Okay.
shield. Oh, he's just calling everything right now. This is
Yeah.
Heartbreaker is in shambles. The bait is going to end up costing him huge. It's going to outpace to the next nuke. Groudon won't be able to get to the Earthquake without investing another shield. Good counting from Blue Anthrax's side. Throws before the CMP.
And now we'll see if the Garchomp is running Sand Tomb or not. All ground moves or just running the Earth Power. So
Looks,
most likely
yeah,
then, yeah, he's
double nuke.
running double nuke. And then here, I guess Garchomp can throw either move, but will definitely get farmed down by Zekrom before throwing a charge move. And now Blue Anthrax is primed to have alignment here if it has a Togekiss in the back. No, but it has a Conkeldurr. Oh my
Interesting.
goodness. So now
Conkeldurr
Zekrom,
coming in, yeah.
yeah.
Gonna have to throw the wild charge here. I don't think you want to bait again. Need to shield this.
Hmm.
And you're sort of in an awkward position here where like I think you have to assume there's Mewtwo in the back, potentially with a shield. If you let this go, this will KO. We'll be able to land the crunch on the Mewtwo. Mewtwo's going to need to have Shadow Ball, but it's not quite enough to kill a Metagross from full. So this is actually pretty awkward.
Oh, but he opts to throw the wild charge here. If he doesn't shield, the Metagross could farm down the Mewtwo. So now here comes the Mewtwo. And Blue Anthrax is definitely going to get to the Shadow Ball right away if you have it.
Yep,
And
and
then,
it's not going to KO though, and this
yeah,
Metagross will get the Meteor Mash off, which is going to hit for quite a lot of damage.
yes. Oh my goodness, that damage definitely didn't KO. Now the Metagross throws this Meteor Mash and puts the Mewtwo into a
Pretty low.
very. Oh my goodness. Mewtwo here opting to Side Strike down, and we get a simultaneous KO with the Heartbreaker for the win.
I think Heartbreaker wanted to throw the Wild Charge blind just in case the Togekiss came in. Wild Charge does actually do more to Mewtwo than Crunch. If you can, it's just stab and it's an extra 30 base power. In addition, despite the fact that Crunch is super effective, but obviously both do devastating amounts of damage, and you would rather shield one of those than Meteor Mash from Metagross. So I think that was a really difficult position. I think Blue Anthrax needed to not have his Garchomp farm down and needed to respond, I think, with an immediate Conkeldurr into the Zekrom.
Right.
But that was almost his game. I think that team comp makes a lot of sense. And now that Groudon has been revealed to have Mudshot, you know that your Garchomp can come in a little bit more safely, and you don't have to worry about being farmed.
Yeah, I
Any
definitely agree.
considerations you think for game 2 in terms of adjustments?
I still think that Togekiss is a strong play for Blue Anthrax, and like I definitely expect to see it every game, and just to bait out the Metagross so that the Conkeldurr can farm it down and throw these devastating dynamic punches to everything that's on Heartbreaker's kit
Okay, let's
team.
take a look and see how they decided to play game 2.
Mm-hmm. Here comes the Metagross into the Mewtwo. This is not a bad matchup.
It's not good. It's not great. I would say it's awkward as the Metagross player to both be outpaced and to lose CMB
Yeah.
to the Shadow Ball. We know that you can live this, but if you do, you might get the shield, right? Okay, so he's gonna choose to call the bait. He's gonna go for the Meteor Mash. I expect Blue Anthrax to shield this and farm down, which puts him in puts Heartbreaker in a really bad spot here because now he's got energy. He's gonna choose to switch out to not let the farm down occur, but he's kind of on the back foot here with Mewtwo having energy. And these Psy Strikes are going to be coming out fast and furious.
I do love that movie. Here comes the
Yeah,
Side
I
Strike
know.
onto the Groudon, and now Groudon here opting to try and get to that Earthquake. But these Side Strikes are definitely going to be devastating from the Mewtwo. Here comes the second Side Strike. Groudon taking it like a champ, and then opting to farm up just a little bit more energy, throwing the Earthquake right before the Mewtwo can get to this third Side Strike.
I think
This
you
is
let this
definitely going
go
to be,
here, yeah? Okay.
yeah, this is,
And then farm
yeah.
down with Conkeldurr if you have it. Okay, makes a lot
Mhm.
of sense.
And then, oh my
We'll
goodness, the
see if Blue
Conkeldurr
Anthrax
is,
has been counting here.
yeah, but I mean, like we all know, right? It can't be any more than the Earthquake. And so Conkeldurr safely taking the Fire Punch, farming down the Groudon, and having energy for the Zekrom there.
Well,
Uh,
this is just going to be a brutal game here, I think.
yeah.
He definitely needs to try and catch. He gets the
Ooh, what a
catch.
catch on the Metagross! Very nice counting. Oh my gosh, Blue Anthrax here probably kicking himself in the dirt by throwing that dynamic punch, wasting all that energy. And now here comes the Zekrom, just going to farm all the way down on the Conkeldurr, has enough for a crunch and a half, and then here comes
Uh,
the guard chomp here.
this
Oh
is
my
so
goodness.
bad. You don't have any. If this was Dragon Tail, I think you're still in this game. He doesn't shield the first one in case of the defense drop. Makes sense, but does get it. He's just gonna be. You don't need to throw this. You're just gonna farm down at this point in time. Unnecessary crunch throw. Um, I would just not shield this. Yeah, give Blue Anthrax a style point. I think for making the classy no shield. I think
Yeah.
recognizing that it was over, he shielded nothing in the end game, and just we got it over a little bit faster. I
Yes.
can certainly appreciate somebody who knows when they've lost. So we'll
Hmm.
give him a little a little brownie point for acknowledging his defeat with such great style.
I agree.
All right, well, he's now down 2 games, and I felt like Blue Anthrax has a pretty good matchup here against Heartbreaker. So
Mhm.
certainly there's a team I think that has winning potential. What do you think he needs to finally? I mean, he's tried a few things now that they haven't quite worked out. Last game was unfortunate with the outplay with the
Mhm.
catch. But do you think there's maybe a safer line Blue Anthrax can bring that probably puts him in a better spot?
I still think the Togekiss is going to
Okay.
be the heavy play here. I mean, like, you take out the Zekrom, of course, you have to invest a shield into the Wild Charge. But if you can bait out that Metagross and just quite literally farm it down with Conkeldurr,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll have a bit of a chance here with the energy advantage.
For sure. All right. Well, let's take a look into game 3 and see what Blue Anthrax decides to do
Hmm.
to get back in this. I'm feeling Metagross lead again. I think Metagross it makes a lot of sense. Okay, we do see the Metagross coming into the Conkeldurr. It's a bit of a neutral matchup. It's awkward for both sides. They pace to the moves exactly the same, but of course Conkeldurr's counters do more damage. Metagross um, does win CMP, but for whatever reason couldn't tap on his move.
I
That's
believe, yeah, the Metagross was behind a turn, and
oh yeah, I
so
started a little bit behind.
yeah,
Yeah,
Conkeldurr gets to
that
uh, yeah, dynamic punch first, and then Metagross opting to almost get to the double meteor mash here, throwing the first, trying to grab a shield from Conkeldurr, and then we'll definitely get to the second as Conkeldurr gets to the second dynamic punch here, and then here we go. There's the second meteor mash, trying to get to the second shield. Conkeldurr wants to burn as many shields as possible, and then if Blue Anthrax has a Togekiss in the back, the Metagross is definitely not going to see it. Here comes the Garchomp. Garchomp farming down the Metagross, probably opting to shield the Meteor Mash here and have enough energy for the Groudon and the Zekrom.
if he might let this go if he has Mewtwo, just to like, ooh, and he goes in with Groudon, which is the low fast move damage mon. I don't know if I like this. Could have easily farmed this down now because you're gonna have to throw. You're gonna have to throw a move at this thing if you want to get rid of it, without
Right.
having to use a shield. Or if you want to go for the full Mudshot. Okay, so he's gonna throw. That makes a lot of sense. I think Blue Anthrax is in a difficult spot now. If he has Togekiss in the back, I think he's going. Well, if he has Togekiss in the back, I think he'll probably win. But yeah,
Oh,
with Mewtwo coming in now, you're gonna need to throw before this comes out. Okay, that's good. But Mewtwo does not have a winning matchup against Zekrom in the
hmm,
ones, and he's going to elect to shield this to pry that last shield off.
that makes a lot of sense because they can get to the crunch and still take a side strike, and then the crunch is definitely gonna get rid of the Mewtwo. So this is a great play by Heartbroken Kid. I don't see this Mewtwo coming out with an advantage here, unless
The
oh
unnecessary catch, which I don't
wow.
think was required to win this game. I mean, you could no
Oh,
bubble this to get the extra farm, but at this point in time, you're, this.
I do like the farm down here to undercharge. But the Groudon does have a move, and the Groudon will get to the Earthquake if Mewtwo decides to farm just a little bit more. But here comes the Zekrom, and a
Ooh,
Side Strike won't KO.
need two
So he
side
has
strikes.
right. He definitely needs two Side Strikes here. Uh,
This is a difficult spot. I mean, you're basically he's gonna he was trying to farm up to have two moves, unable to do so because he's in fire punch range now. So even if
right.
he threw here, he wouldn't have enough energy to deal with the Groudon. That
Mm.
was just these catches from Heartbreaker are just devastating right now.
True, saying true to his name, just breaking hearts,
He's breaking
taking
these hearts
names.
left and right. I
Right.
mean, Blue Anthrax in shambles. This round is lost. At best, he can now prevent the complete sweep. Um, and we've talked about it a few times now. I don't think we don't need to get into it again. Let's just see if the Togekiss finally comes out for Game 4 to try and give him a hard wall to one of these, to either the Groudon or the Zekrom.
Yeah, so let's see here. Blue Anthrax needs to make some adjustments here. Does not want to go down 0-4 into this matchup. Garchomp into Zekrom. This is not the worst thing considering that he has the mud shots.
Ooh, he's
The
gonna
option
choose
to
a
switch
switch
into
right away.
Mewtwo. Okay. So we all know how this matchup is going to go. Zekrom has to throw the crunch for the super effective dark type move against Mewtwo's psychic typing. But maybe here, Zekrom is looking to grab some damage, grab a shield, or lower its defense. Now Groudon comes in, is going to take a side strike, and I would say that Mewtwo has a certain advantage here with his energy, but Groudon
Oh,
is definitely looking to take the side strike, opting to farm up just a little bit more, pass the fire punch, has the shield here if they want to take out a fire punch. But
looks like
oh,
he just wants to use it as a damage sponge to get Mewtwo to dump, and then
mhm,
could come in. He needs to maintain shields for the Garchomp still.
right.
So he's gonna look to try and farm this down. I guess the Zekrom makes more sense, higher fast move damage. Um, uh,
I,
Now you got a shield. You got to start
yeah.
shielding something now. He's gonna come out with a move here, having gotten the Mewtwo 2 dump and determining that he doesn't need the Groudon. I think you can live
Oh,
this, but gonna go for the double shield.
mhm. I feels like he could have opted to double shield these side strikes from in the first place, and then here comes Avalog. Oh sorry, Regerice. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this
Uh,
is real bad.
yeah,
This is
Metagross can
real
now just
bad.
farm down the Regice here, unless Regice has a move to take out the Metagross, such as Earthquake. But it won't take out the Metagross. It'll bring it down to at least 30%. And now Regice here needs to basically shield the Meteor Mash and throw the Earthquake again into the Metagross. But this is
Could
not the worst
could
situation
let
here.
it go and farm down with Garchomp. I think
Garchomp.
actually makes a lot of sense.
Hmm. Um,
And he still
but
has a sack.
right.
Blue Anthrax can return the favor that has
Mhm.
been shown to him more than once this set, and he has a sack in the back. This definitely does more damage than Crunch, makes a lot of sense to shield. Without having Outrage, there's nothing that this Zekrom can do to get rid of this Garchomp. It's going to eat an Earth Power, and this is Blue Anthrax able to pull one game out of this set to prevent the complete sweep.
Very well played on both sides.
It's a great job coming back into this after. Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
just gonna go for
Garchomp
the
does have
outrage.
outrage.
Yeah,
Okay, very nice.
has the double nuke. I mean, honestly, could have went with the double. Could have went with the bait and Earth Power or something like that. I think the Como O is just too unlikely to come with Mewtwo and Togekiss as bodyguards.
Mhm.
But regardless, I think that was. I'm honestly really impressed by. Let's just shorten it to HBK. I was really impressed by HBK's play in that. So let's take a look at what we have ahead and what. Mhm. Okay. Well, we have been informed that the race is quite tight right now. between Stefan and Oscar, which is going to culminate in their eventual head-to-head later. But for now, let's take a look at Kelsey versus Heater.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
this is, I think, really complicated to unpack, but I'm going to let you have first crack at it and just take a look
Well,
and let me know what you think is
Primarina,
best.
yeah. Primarina is an interesting choice here, with its charm damage and or waterfall fast move damage. And so I can see Kelsey here wanting to use Primarina against the Yveltal, or have Waterfall against the Landers and the Regirock.
Hmm.
And against, like, Waterfall is such a hard hitting move that it's gonna deal some damage against Dialga, even though it's resisted. And the Snorlax here is going to have great play against the Jirachi, and if it's running Superpower or Earthquake, can deal with the Dialga as well. And I've never seen an Escavalier at level 40, so this is going to be an interesting play here for Heater to try and figure out how to get 4 wins or even 2 wins out of this.
For sure. I think the Primarina is very strong. With Charm, it wins ones against Dialga, can take an Iron Head.
Hmm.
It can also win zeros. It does a lot of damage, of course, to everything not named Jirachi with Charm. And in particular, I think the Lando, while it can land very hard hitting stone edges on Primarina, will suffer from the fast move pressure. I expect like Giratina Altered will probably come as a bodyguard for Jirachi specifically, and maybe the Regirock, which one consideration is I don't think you actually need Focus Blast here to
Hmm.
deal with the Snorlax. You could run Zap Cannon to give you a
Right.
one shot out against Primarina. Um, I think Kelsey probably is going to want to consider bringing like a Scavalier as well as like an extra counter to the Jirachi, the Regirock, and the Dialga. And honestly, I don't dislike Suicune, especially with Ice Fang. Can
Hmm.
be a great deterrent to Landorus and Yveltal.
Right.
And in terms of Yveltal's moveset, I'm expecting Gust.
Yeah.
But yeah, from Heater's side, I like Yveltal against everything that isn't Primarina, potentially the Ice Fang Suicune. Jirachi puts up a great fight against everything. Could run Dazzling Gleam to hit Altered pretty hard, and it has actually a pretty good matchup with Snorlax.
Hmm.
The licks are not doing quite as much as you would think compared to the stab confusions, so it's actually not that disadvantageous for Jirachi, and of course it can handle Charina very, and can even do well against Reshiram, which needs to land those crunches and is taking a lot of damage from confusion. So I'm really interested to get into this. Let's take a look at game one.
Yeah.
And we see the Escavalier come out into Regirock. Fantastic lead for Kelsey, but Regirock has a lot of counterplay against Escavalier. One drill run will not KO. And
Oh, it looks like we have a bit
once
of
this
lag here.
lag resolves, we'll see how they want to play this out. It
Okay.
looks like we have a little bit of catch up to do.
Yeah, but it's also looking like a bit of mutual lag, because I'm sure that it's hard to say from the lock on, see being resisted by the steel typing. But here comes the Regirock with the Stone Edge, and then SCAV here coming up to the double drill run, has to throw a move at some point. Here comes the first drill run onto the Regirock. Will Regirock shield here and protect um, their nice legendary Pokemon here? Or no? Oh, SCAV going for the double drill run. Here comes the second. Will Regirock shield and get to another charge move onto the SCAV? Oh, just barely live, and
I'm gonna
gets to
land
that
this.
last
It'll
charge
do a
move.
lot. It won't
Yes.
kill. Um, I think at this point he's gonna come in with like Landorus probably to farm her Escavalier down. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Not gonna
Mhm.
let that happen though, and just gonna safe swap into the Snorlax. Could see a superpower and bail situation, but we do see Suicune is in the back, which could be very unpleasant for this Lando if Heater decides to save this for later, thinking that it'll be valuable. He's gonna be met potentially by Ice Fang, at the very least Ice Beam.
Yeah, it's interesting that Kelsey is opting to save the Escavalier. I don't really see where the Escavalier is going to have much play after getting rid of the Regirock, other than maybe the Dialga. But this is an interesting turn of events here. And then here comes the
And we
Dialga now. But the superpower won't KO the Dialga. But essentially, after the superpower, Dialga can farm down the Snorlax and have a charge move ready for the Escav at this point. Opting to shield the superpower, but I'm pretty sure Escav is really close to a drill run, so Dialga has to throw the Draco Meteor right away.
just need
3,
an Iron
4,
Head at this point.
5.
Yeah, this will
Oh.
be enough to KO.
Mhm.
Suicune is gonna come in. We'll see what the fast move is, but depending on what it has, Ice Fang is very slow to charge at only 5 energy per Fang, which means you're gonna need 11 of these to get to the Ice Beam, and Dialga paces to the Draco Meteor, possibly the Thunder if he wants something that can get rid of the Primarina in one shot. And it is Thunder, and that's going to be uh, more than enough to take out the Suicune.
Wow.
Really unfortunate to have to fight Dialga shields down. I think
Mhm.
going to need better shield management in the future to prevent Dialga from getting energy into its zeroed shield situation is pretty dangerous.
I'm kind of surprised that Suicune is running Ice Fang instead of Snarl. But I guess the Ice Fang for the Voltol and the Landorus and Virizion. But then even then, I think the Snarl would have better play just to get to the Ice Beams quicker.
Get to the Ice Beam. You're trading off immediate damage in exchange for less charge move pressure. It could be, I mean, it could work out in a very high fast move pressure team, Ice Fang, Suicune, and Primarina together. And we might
Mhm.
see the Primarina come out as like sort of, a stronger answer to fast moving down the Dialga. I want to see how she adjusts in game two.
Yeah, so let's bring up game 2 and see what happens. Um, so here comes the Giratina versus the Yveltal. This is definitely not where the Giratina wants to see. Um, but it really has no answer here. Oh, and it is the Gussie Voltol. So this Escav is definitely on the wrong end of this battle. Here comes the Mega Horn,
Ooh, this is gonna
dealing
hurt.
neutral damage onto the Yveltal. And this
This
will
will
deal.
hurt if he no shields this. If he
Mhm.
has a Landorus, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't already gone to it, because it just makes a lot of sense to not have to worry about shielding anything. And she's not able to get there because of switching into a Gust. So now we'll have to see if Heater is counting, and he's not. He shields the drill run.
I think
Oh
that's a
man,
safe
he's down
shield either
2
way.
shields.
Yeah, but I think that's a safe shield either way. And what's definitely gonna hurt is coming in with the Primarina and you know, like what does he have against
Gonna have to
the
have
Giratina
Hurricane.
here?
Hurricane would do a lot of damage here. Oh,
Yeah,
blind Dark Pulses for some reason.
yeah.
Could get to another Dark Pulse, but oh, is just barely unable to because of the charge move timing. Jirachi is coming out, and this is looking really bad. Even if he has Dialga in the back, Giratina up shields beats Dialga.
Hmm.
It certainly beats Regirock up shields. This is just brutal now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he spent the two shields onto the Yveltal. He definitely needed it against the Escav as well as the Giratina.
He
But
has a
also,
full lose to Escavalier team here.
yeah, there's no way that they can take out the Escav without a flyer in the back, and so having Jirachi and Regirock is definitely hurting Kelsey here. Oh, sorry, not hurting Kelsey, hurting Heater here
Yeah.
against the Escav. And so here comes the second charge move from Regirock. Giratina is going to take it without spending a shield, hoping to save the Primarina and throw these Dragon Claws onto the Regirock. Uh, Possibly Kelsey's only play is to probably bait back out the Jirachi, but she's in a really good spot right here. Oh, catches a charge move from the Regirock. That's very well played.
Unnecessary catch, in my
Well played
opinion.
there.
Doesn't need the Primarina anymore. So sacking it makes a lot of sense. I think at
Right.
this point in time, you can just Shadow Claw this thing down, and it
Well, I
he
think
goes
at
for the
the
instant
yeah.
swap into Jirachi, but 2 Shadow Sneaks is gonna be enough to take this out. I would shield anything from the Jirachi over shielding another Stone Edge from the Regirock.
Yeah. Well, I think Kelsey's play definitely was to get rid of the Primarina, just sack it. It was the
Mhm.
only there was no use for it against the Jirachi, and just to use a shield, save a shield, and then using the Primarina as a sack was definitely well played there.
Yeah. Definitely gonna want to shield this. Not in Stone Edge range here. Um, and has the claw ready for the Regirock. And this is one of the only things Giratina wins CMP against in all of Master League, so you got to take advantage of it when you can.
Oh, well played. Giratina is just way too tanky in Master League. There's just you have to save the Yveltal for it, and like not bring
No.
two Pokemon in the back that can't deal with a switch in.
Oh man, actually, you know what? Chad's calling this out. I agree. Can we award a style point to Kelsey for the sacking of her Charmer in true PGR style and bullying the rest of Heater's team with the Giratina? I think that deserves a shout out. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
let's throw that up there. All right, and now we're one apiece going into game 3. It's still anyone's set.
Yeah.
Um, what do you see in terms of who can pull ahead here? Is there any particular team adjustment you'd like to see?
Um, Not entirely. I think Heater still has like an okay team, but like if Kelsey can, recognize that Escab is like, um, probably one of the biggest assets of her team.
Hmm.
If it's not aligned with a flyer, then you know it's this is going to be great, right? Like you can take out the Jirachi, you can take out uh the Regirock and the Dialga. I'm not too familiar with the matchup against Virizion, but I'm pretty sure it can take that out too, with Virizion not having strong fast moves. It only has
Quick
Vine Whip
attack.
and Quick
Quick,
Attack. Yeah.
quick attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Virizion pretty is in the current state of the game pretty hindered by its fast move. Definitely
Right.
room for improvement. Which anyone who spent any amount of time on PGR knows how much I talk about the swords of
Mhm.
and how much they need a buff. But in any case, we don't have time for that right now, certainly. So let's get into game 3 and
Yes.
see how they want to play this. And we see the Yveltal
Oh,
into the Scavalier. It's not terrible for Yveltal, but probably doesn't want to use it up on this either. Hopefully, Heater has learned his lesson and decided to bring something to stop this Scavalier from rolling over his team.
yeah, but like here, Kelsey doesn't have much answer to the Voltal in the back, anyways. Oh, shield properly shields the Mega Horn, very nice shield. And if I was Heater, I'd just farm this all the way down, not have to worry about getting to the last move here. In fact, I think Yveltal does live this Mega Horn and probably just doesn't need to shield.
Could let this go. Um,
Oh,
decides to lose switch at the cost of a
of a
shield
shield.
to farm down with lock on. It's an interesting idea. Doesn't get to the drill run, so now the Regirock is loaded. I wonder if he brought the same team. Kelsey gonna have to decide what she wants to
Yeah,
do here. I mean, honestly, I think if you go in with Snorlax, you could superpower and then just switch to
yeah.
Altered.
But like it's interesting, Heater didn't save the Yveltal because now Kelsey basically just took out the biggest threat to the back line, and has Giratina without needing to use a shield on Giratina because it's so tanky. Just taking all of these stone edges, and maybe Snorlax here can clean up. What I'm gonna guess is a Jirachi or a Dialga in the back.
Certainly looking bad. Poor Heater. I mean, if he can get this altered low enough, maybe there's some play here. You probably don't want to throw this move
Uh,
potentially, or
I'm
go like
surprised.
we'll see if he
Yeah,
has Focus Blast now, or if he has
well,
like
I'm
Zap
surprised
Beam.
that the Snorlax is coming in now,
Mhm.
thinking that the Giratina is going to be useful later, but I don't think the Giratina is going to be that much useful. Um, so if I was Kelsey, I'd shield the Snorlax here, throw a body slam, and like just farm down the Regirock. But here comes another Stone Edge, Shadow Snorlax, taking it like a champ, and able to get to 2 body slams, throwing one here without having to debuff themselves because they're still locked in.
Mm.
And so that's a really smart play. And then here we're gonna see the last Pokemon. Will it be the Dialga or the Metagross? Sorry, the Jirachi.
It
Oh
is the
my goodness.
Jirachi. Oh man.
Yeah. So essentially, Kelsey just didn't like. It was surprising to come in with the Snorlax here and taking out the Regirock, preserving the Giratina. But I don't think she needed to preserve the Giratina here. Grabbing the last shield, going for the Shadow Sneak. Very well played. Nice combo move from Kelsey here, taking Heater out. Then I
Kelsey is
think this
just
match is,
dancing circles around Heater at this point. I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing he can do. Can just let this go and finish the game with Snorlax.
yeah.
Um,
Just lick it down.
Go for the full lick down, I think. Gonna throw a
Oh,
superpower right away. I don't know. That's not the most stylish way to finish it.
I mean,
Can you
this is
take
still
her
pretty
star
stylish.
away?
No, it's still pretty stylish.
All
You're
right,
throwing a
we'll leave
fast
it.
move.
We'll leave it.
You're throwing a fighting move against a psychic. It's pretty good.
It's neutral. I mean, I think body slam would have been a little bit more. I don't know if that was sufficiently disrespectful for my taste, but you know what? In the spirit of competition, we'll just allow it.
Sure.
She decides to for sure take game two, and doesn't want to mess around or play too many games. Heater's now on the back foot here. Down a game with the chance to tie it up. What do you
Yeah.
think he needs to do? I mean, he has no respect for a Scavalier at this point in time. I think we've established that.
hmm I
I think the
mean,
Landorus needs to come back, right?
yeah, like Heater has to basically bring 2 fighters, right? Like you can see that Kelsey can get to the 2 Mega Horns and really just needs to land one against Heater. It's just so strong of a move, and so Heater has to either bring um, 2 Flyers or double shield the Yveltal. I think had Heater double shield the Yveltal, Kelsey would have had a very tough time taking out the Giratina, right? Because like, why stay in that matchup in particular with Escav? Like, there's no way, especially when you're running Gus. There's absolutely no way that the Escav can win by not shielding. It has to shield at least a move.
Yeah. I think if the concern is that there's a Primarina in the back, I think
hmm
that's negated by having both the Regirock and the Jirachi, which like hold up very well against it. If you
Right.
go for the double shield, you can save all that energy. If Primarina does come in, like don't even bother throwing, just go to the Regirock. If she stays in with Primarina, obviously that's going to be pretty awkward just because the Regirock outpaces, of course. And then if she does switch to Altered, that puts the Yveltal in a situation once, the timer is up to come back in and Dark Pulse the Altered and then have the Jirachi, which can take a Hydro Pump. It hurts, but you can definitely take it in the back to square off against the Primarina and try and pry some shields off. So yeah, Heater for sure needed to commit, I think. He probably mistakenly assumed, because of the previous game where she switched the Escavalier into the Gust, that Escavalier can't double nuke the Yveltal, but that's actually not the case. As long as you don't let a Gust through, you can reach 2 Megahorns. So that was the problem. She switched at the wrong timing and took the full brunt of that Gust on the Escavalier in that previous game but it didn't end up mattering because Heater can't count and shielded the drill run, which is very unfortunate for him. But we'll see if
hmm
he can redeem himself in game 4. Let's get into it.
So here comes game 4. Giratina into Yveltal. Another bad matchup,
Ooh,
but
that is a tough lead.
Will Kelsey again coming into Reshiram into the Yveltal. So this is definitely an interesting matchup here. Has to go for the crunch onto the Regirock. And this is definitely a difficult matchup for Reshiram to come out of, but maybe with the energy advantage, they can get to 2 crunches, maybe 3. Here comes
Oh,
the defense
there's
drop.
the
Oh, this is
defense drop.
definitely working in Kelsey's favor right now. And Heater has to throw the Stone Edges soon, just to try and grab at least 2 shields here.
can easily take
Oh,
this Stone Edge, not going to be locked on down, gets to the next crunch, and can
okay.
win switch. This is really awkward because Kelsey is going to be able to Dragon Breath this thing down if it shields here. Could get the
Mhm.
double defense drop. Gonna have to invest to shield, but can solidify
Oh my
switch.
gosh.
I think
I
you shield this and get the alignment that you want. Oh, gonna let it go. Okay.
No. I mean, yeah, like I think this move here works out pretty well because they come in with Escav, right? Farm down and have energy against the Yveltal. Double Mega Horn, take out the Yveltal. Or they come in Jirachi and take out the or
They
yeah,
don't
there's
have
there's a
Lando
Jirachi.
again.
There's a Jirachi back there.
Oh man, has
So
Heater?
she has it here, right? She just shields,
Hmm.
um, lines up the fast move, throw one counter and then the mega horn, and then just double nuke the Yveltal and she wins the game.
This is just apps. Heater is in complete shambles right now. Once again, has brought nothing to fight the Escavalier with. Kelsey recognizing that she could let that switch didn't matter when he has this sort of team comp. Oh man, this is just
Yeah,
there's
very
nothing
smart
that can
play.
happen now.
Very smart play, letting the Reshiram just go down and forcing the Regirock to throw a third Stone Edge at the very end there rather than farming it all the way down. This is very impressive play from her.
This is absolutely brutal. I mean, if the Drachi doesn't have Dazzling Gleam, you could even Shadow Claw all the way down at this point in time. And we
Right.
see that it does have Psychic. Not as energy efficient as Doom Desire, but does a little bit more damage. He just wants to get rid of this. Doesn't want to give him a chance to stall out the clock or play any games with catches. We're just going to get rid of the Drachi now. This Yveltal is already in Mega Horn range, but it's gonna have to throw on the altar because if it doesn't, it's just gonna die to the Dragon Claw spam.
Yeah.
One more
I'm
will be
surprised.
enough.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen the Landorus here in play because essentially double flyers is going to help with that Escavalier.
Shield this and Shadow Claw down? Question mark for the style. Shadow Claw the Yveltal down. No, okay, we're gonna
No,
let
the
it
style
go.
point here is to
Take.
throw the drill run into
Okay.
the Volto. Here comes the drill run. She gets another star for her
Ooh.
efforts.
Can we get a second star drill running this Yveltal in the end game with the shield flex? And Heater has quit the game, seemingly, on that delay. Closed app. Closing app will not save him from being buried by the steel bug. And with that, she goes up 3-1 to take an impressive set from what was, I think, a pretty difficult matchup on both sides. A lot of play. Eater, for some reason, has completely decided to not bring his Escavalier counter. Proved to be very costly. And let's go back into the schedule and take a look at our last matchup of the day. And something to note about this is a pretty decisive match. So Oscar and Stefan, the two Waffle brothers, facing off against each other. If
Mhm.
Oscar defeats Stefan, then he's going to solidify first place for himself. But if Stefan beats Oscar, then he can take the lead in the standings. That is not a decisive. This is not a decisive solidification for Stefan, though. Just to be clear, because even if he wins, it doesn't guarantee him first place. It just gives him the lead for now. But I think, yeah, if Oscar wins this, he wins the whole thing. Just
Mhm.
something to note. So with that said, let's get into it.
Yeah, final match of the day: Stefan versus Oscar. Um, it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup here. And
So what do
okay,
you like? I mean, from my perspective, I think the Giratina is obviously a no-brainer. Giratina with energy beats this whole team.
mm-hmm.
What you want to do is find ways to get farm, and then you
Yes,
can double shadow ball things like Sylveon or even the Avalug.
right.
Speaking of which, I think the Avalug looks good on Oscar's side. Certainly, the Kyogre is extremely strong against everything that isn't Giratina. And yes, I consider Kyogre to be strong against Gyarados. Just outbulks it. The waterfalls simply do an unreasonable amount of damage to a water type. and the surfs add up. Um, Something I like for Oscar is maybe like Avalug, or maybe the Avalug, the Kyogre, the Sylveon, or maybe triple disrespect to drill Avalug, Sylveon, and Latios to go for the brute force approach through Stefan's team. And on Stefan's side, I think the Excadrill is strong against everything that isn't the Kyogre. I doubt the Machamp will come, just because it's too farmable by Giratina, and Oscar can't afford to give the Giratina too much farm.
Mhm.
Um, Plus, you'd have to decide between Rock Slide for like the Gyarados or Payback for the Giratina. I just think probably better to not bring the Machamp. Um,
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
and for Stefan, I think he just needs to bring like a couple Melmetal bodyguards just in case, for his Gyarados. But I think his first three look fairly strong. Or if he wants Florges instead of the Gyarados, and just do Giratina, Excadrill, and Florges. And I don't think you really need to bother with the Swampert or the Heracross. Don't do too much here. I think Oscar can bring anyone, any three of his first five, probably best to leave the Machamp off. I kind of like the idea of safe swapping Melmetal actually into like a bad lead. If for example you have like a Kyogre lead into Giratina, if you go to Melmetal, it's kind of awkward. Don't really want to switch out of that into anything else. But then if you can get him to use the Giratina up on the Melmetal, perhaps you can sweep with like the Kyogre or something else in the back. But anyway, those are just some ideas that I have.
Yeah. Let's
We'll
get
see how
into
they
the
want to
game.
play it.
All right. Oh, they're wearing matching shirts. That's cute. Okay, we have Latios into Excadrill. Okay, not the worst matchup, but
Fairly neutral. Latios wins ones if you can bait and land the Psychic, or just land the Psychic straight up at the
mhm.
cost of a shield. I
but
assume he'll let the first one go.
yeah. So Excadrill here throwing the rock slides. Definitely not. Oh, I'm sorry, drill run. I keep thinking Latios is a flying type.
Yeah, so
Uh,
it learns levitate, or it has the ability levitate in the main series, which gives you
uh-huh.
that ground immunity. But certainly there are no there are no abilities here. He gets the
Yeah.
bait successfully, so now with the investment of a shield, he can land the psychic and win the ones, which it looks like that's what he's going to go for.
Okay, this
It
makes
would
perfect sense because he wants to get rid of the Excadrill. It's definitely troublesome for his team without having to reveal that he has Kyogre in the back. Um, but maybe the Latios here could be used elsewhere if there is something in the back.
Ooh,
Oh,
goes for the double bait, which is costly. Do you shield this and farm down now? I don't know if the energy is worth it necessarily.
yeah. There's not much
And
in the
he's
back.
gonna he's gonna
Oh,
switch into a Dragon Claw. I don't know if I like that.
no, this makes
Um,
perfect sense because if you come in with a Sylveon right away, the Sylveon's going to take a Shadow Ball and it's going to be very devastating.
but it's
You
gonna be
might
able
take
to
a
farm down, which I don't like.
yeah.
And now you're getting rid of your. This is the best Kyogre counter on Stefan's team, which he's using up now.
Mhm.
Probably, it kind of hurts to say this, but it's probably better to just let the drill get farmed down and then come in with not Giratina, so you don't have to shield to take the move. But either way, we're gonna see what the last mon is. And
Uh,
Latios has like a little bit. It could be used for a sack potentially, and it's
oh
Florges. See, all right. So
no!
now, if you let the drill get farmed down, you can take the move on Florges and keep your Giratina healthy.
Right, but oh man, that Kyogre in the back is just gonna be devastated to see this. I think yeah, just having to let the Latios go and then oh
This is
man,
gonna be tough, because you can't Vine Whip the Latios down. And if you try, you're gonna eat a psychic, and you need to double Moonblast this. So all the timing is gonna count here. He's gonna have to throw his moves inside the waterfalls to prevent a catch.
that was a Moonblast here, and Kyogre is looking to farm down.
Look, trying to catch there, but unable to do so because Stefan has the right timing. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, he's going to need to get to a disarming voice to stop this. And will he be able to do so? I think he needs 5 based off of my counting, and it looks like he just has it before the
Oh
6. That would have been a CMP tie.
Wow.
Has it on the
Very
5,
impressive.
gets the disarming voice off to take game 1. Really good job managing that by Stefan, I think, and
Yeah, even
able
if
to make
Stefan
sure prevent the catch.
yeah, even if Stefan didn't get to that move, I believe Excadrill still has enough health to farm down the Latios in the back.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely a difficult spot on both sides. I think Oscar tried to negotiate it as well as he could, considering the lead situation that he was in.
Hmm.
Um, I think perhaps what would have been the better play, and this is hard to say, but you could let the drill run go. You get to Psychic in 19. That's one before double drill run. Play out zeros to soft lose. Have Kyogre farm down the drill if he shields or whatnot, and then go for 2 shield Sylveon in the back against the Florges and try and bully your way through with fast move pressure. That does seem like a very Oscar thing to do. I'm surprised he didn't decide to go with that tactic. So we'll
Yeah.
see if he can make that adjustment in game 2.
Yeah. I'm excited to see game 2 to see what happens here. I still think it's funny they're wearing the same shirts. Okay, Giratina into Latios again. Um, sort
Mixed
of a neutral matchup.
matchup, yeah.
Oh, swapping into
This
Excadrill
is
and then
okay, so
coming into the Kyogre.
this
Oh
is a
boy.
dangerous situation to be in.
Yeah.
Because okay, so if you're Stefan, you can get the 2 drill runs here because of the energy lead. You cannot kill this Kyogre. So what you need to do is you need to undercharge this drill run. Like do a nice so that you can get a lot of farm because the reason why he brought this out here to switch lock that Giratina into the Avalugg. He did too much damage on that drill run. Now I'm not going to be able to get enough farm on Giratina to really take advantage of this.
Yeah. So if Stefan is counting correctly, he knows this is just a surf and it's not a blizzard. So Giratina opting to not shield, farming
Yeah.
down the
Only gets a
Kyogre.
couple of claws though because he went for the full power drill run on the second one. That's going to
Yeah.
prove to be costly, I think. Oscar's going to come back in with Latios and built up a little bit before. This is a problem because I bet you there's a Florges in the back. So he comes in with Latios over the Avalugg, even though he'll have to shield, Ominous Wind baits.
Mhm.
Because he realizes that probably this is Latios' best matchup uh, in this game. Just need to be
Oh,
careful of the Shadow Claw or of the Dragon Claw catch on the floor, just which Stefan over eagerly goes for. And now we have Avalugg against the Florges, and Oscar has commanding alignment of this game.
yeah. This is interesting here because now the Florges is just throwing up the fairy moves, and Avalok doesn't really need to shield here, and could just go straight body slam or opting to go for the avalanche. Um,
Go for the
well,
big
yeah, for the
damage to put
the
this.
big damage
Yeah.
stab move, yeah, as opposed
Go,
to the more energy efficient body slams. Very well
yeah.
played here by both
These
sides.
these Ice Fangs are gonna put this thing into psychic range.
Hmm.
And Latios can farm up a bit off this if he lets this go. He decides to shield the bait, which it would have lived. To get off this body slam. It's not going to KO, but with the Ice Fangs, it certainly will.
Okay,
And then
Avalok throwing
Latios
the
is
body
going to be
slam.
able to finish this. Is going to be able to finish the Giratina off in the back, or it could just stay and make it throw. I kind of like this play too. You can
Yeah,
safely Dragon Breath down after this, and then you can take the Florges out with the Dragon Claw, which I quite like personally. Might have to award a style point here for the killing of this fairy with the claw.
oh,
Yeah,
very
here it
nice.
comes.
Very nice.
This
I
is an
do like these style
embarrassing.
points.
Yeah, this is an embarrassing loss for I think Stefan. Even though he wasn't really hard countered on the lead, he clearly wanted to bait the Kyogre out with the Excadrill
Hmm.
to prevent that matchup against Florges, which is even though it has Vine Whip, it's still favorable for Kyogre. What
Yeah.
he really needed to do, though, and I'm sure he's kicking himself for this, was he had to undercharge that drill run to then get all of the farm that would have made Giratina just an insurmountable obstacle for the team. Just being that behind on energy, I think, would have been absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think we should give a style point for Oscar for humiliating his brother with Dragon Claw. Yes, throw that up there.
Uh, yeah, I'm excited to see the last match. Or sorry, not the last match, the third match. I'm pretty sure Stefan can come back here and uh, be able to take out the Latios. So let's see what happens in game number 3.
Yeah, we're all tied up. It's anyone's set at this point in time. We see the Avalug into the Giratina. Gonna
Very
expect the
nice.
swap right away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going triple anti-Giratina this time, which I do like.
Yeah.
This is somewhat problematic, just because there's no clear response to this. But Avalug is tanky, can take a Rock Slide cleanly. And then the Ice Fangs are definitely going to do the most pressure to the Excadrill. So I
Yeah.
like that he's just going to stay in here. He knows he has two other ways to deal with the Giratina in the back.
It's an interesting choice to stay in with the Avalog. I'm guessing like they can shield this rock slide here, and then throw a body slam even though it is resisted. Escadrille is definitely low enough for the body slams could do enough damage with the ice fangs. Oh, here comes the second rock
Yeah,
slide, opting to shield again.
could double
Uh,
shield to farm down, puts you at a 1 shield deficit with switch advantage, which isn't too important, although Latios doesn't want to fight Giratina in the zeros.
right,
And now something is going to have to take this avalanche, and it's going to be Gyarados. Oh, so he has
Gyarados.
Gyarados this time.
Well, this is definitely Huskers match to lose here if messes up here, but I don't I
He's
don't
going to...
think
Ooh,
I
I don't
don't
like
think
that.
I don't think he needed to switch to Latios here.
I don't think Stefan needed to switch to Giratina either. I think you
Right.
stay
I think you
in with
stay
Gary
in.
against, because now you're coming in to uses his last shield on the claw.
Yeah.
Um,
Because at least then, right, the Dragon Breaths are neutral to Gyarados as opposed to super effective to Giratina. Yes, there are no shields, but Giratina has to throw the Shadow Ball here, get rid of the Latios, but probably does not have enough health to throw a Shadow Ball into the Sylveon,
I think
which
you'll get
desperately
you
needs.
should get one. Sylveon's charms are weak, so you're gonna be able to get the Shadow Ball like right here. Yeah, so you have a Shadow Ball right here. This is gonna put you at about half. The problem is Gyarados is going to have to be able to take out the Sylveon and what remains of the Avalug, and the Avalug is could get to another move.
Yeah, I don't think Gyarados is going to get to an Aqua Tail before the Sylveon gets to the
Ooh,
Psyshock. Oh, CMP tie. Here comes the Aqua Tail. This
this will
might
be
take
enough to
out the
take it out.
Sylveon.
Yeah, this is enough to take it out, but the problem is the Avalug still. I think it's going to get to a move. You're not going to be able to fast move it down. Yeah, Avalug too thick.
Yeah, wow. It I definitely don't think switching out the Gyarados there was the play. Gyarados had an okay advantage against the Latios. I understand that the Aqua Tails are very iffy, but there was no shields in play. You could just throw the crunch.
Could go for the crunch. I think it's still at that HP range.
Right.
It would have been better. It's definitely a difficult spot to be in.
And, and then and then if the Latios takes out the Gyarados, it's too low to be able to threaten the Giratina. So the Giratina can then just farm down the Latios and have enough energy to take out the Sylveon.
I really liked, and I know that people will find this controversial. I like the 2 shield of the Avalug on the Excadrill because the ice energy is valuable everywhere against this team. It can hit everything
Right.
pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then what really happens is you align the Sylveon, which doesn't need to shield doesn't need a shield in the zeros against Giratina to put in work. Of course, you will lose zeros against Origin because you just don't have enough charm pressure to just take it out before it can get to 2 moves. But it's better than just having your Latios nuked into the ground. So I thought Oscar made a really good play there for
Yeah.
the double shield for the switch.
Definitely agree. So let's get into game 4 and see how if Stefan can tie up the matchup.
Climb back into this. This is a critical matchup here, and the Kyogre finds the Excadrill lead. We'll
Oscar
see.
just
He's
taking the leads here.
going to Florges, this is actually pretty terrible. Could just surf this and go to Avalug.
Hmm. That would be a good play. But then we know that there's a Giratina in the back, and I guess not having the Avalok on the Giratina is okay, considering that he has the Latios.
With
Um,
shields, yeah, I think with shields, the Latios is totally fine against Giratina. The Dragon
yeah,
Breath, Dragon Claw combo is superior. Shields up. You can easily take this Boon Blast. Gonna be able to get to a move here, throw this to prevent the Florges. I don't know if I quite like this Body Slam here, to be honest. This
yeah.
won't KO.
It's
Um,
definitely uh, kind of interesting to see that Floor just does not have more coverage moves. Having just Disarming Voice and Moonblast onto its arsenal here.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if it wanted coverage for the Kyogre, specifically, it could use Petal Blizzard. But I just think
Mhm.
like having the Fairy Bait and the Moonblast Nuke is probably overall better against the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So the Joel will come back out, and this bunch is gonna go off. We'll
Essentially,
show
Drill.
up.
Excadrill here needs to farm up to at least 1.5 drill runs so that they can CMP tie against the Kyogre here. But I don't see. Oh man, this extra drill is going down way too low. Here comes um, the rock slide here, and basically just needs to have an energy. Okay, throwing the drill
Either
run.
way, at that point, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to switch into Giratina now. But you're gonna find this is really tough in the back end,
Mhm.
just because with all of these breaths coming through, you have to shield the Dragon Claw, of course, and you're gonna shield this Ominous Wind to maximize the amount of Dragon Breath pressure you can apply to this. But you're
Yeah.
gonna find that Kyogre will be perfectly able to fight Giratina at the HP range that it will come out of after it beats Latios in this
Exactly.
matchup.
So here comes the first Dragon Claw from the Latios, shield by the Giratina. Giratina throwing up the Shadow Claws, super effective Dragon Breaths coming in from the Latios. Here comes the Ominous Wind. Most likely not going to take out the Latios because it's not that damaging of a move here.
It's
And
gonna
then
be just barely not enough. Gets the
Latios,
farm down.
oh, gets to
This
the
is
Dragon
totally
Claw but
fine for
feints with
Oscar,
it.
though.
And then Oscar farming down the Giratina here. Giratina most
Wa-
likely will throw a charge move. Will it be the Ominous Wind or the Shadow Ball?
Shadow Ball will
Will
not be
this take out the
enough.
Kyogre?
Not even close. Just gonna
No,
waterfall down
Kyogre.
now. Oh man, transfers
Oh,
it. I don't think you throw the Surf. I think you just waterfall the Giratina. Oh, Oscar.
it's
Oscar not going for the fast
just
move down. I
just
don't know if
as
I like that.
devastating. It's just
Do
as
we
devastating.
Do we take the star away? I think you just waterfall down there to assert dominance. I
You
don't
can
like
take the
that
star
play.
away. You can take the star away, but Oscar is gonna take the win anyways, so it's fine. He's happy to give up a star for the 3-1 win against his brother. So
I think we're gonna remove go ahead and remove that style point. You can gain them and you can lose them just as easily with the
mhm.
choices that you make. We'll take that away because I feel like that was like a little bit too safe for my personal taste. I like to live a little dangerously, so I would go for the fast move down there. Um, the stars, Ninja Squirtle, are style points that we award based off of the gameplay, the quality of the gameplay, not the results. So we look at whether someone has done something I think we can all agree is stylish, or as Chris is saying, something that we did that was rude to our opponents. But anyway, those are all the matchups that we have for today. And let's take a look at the standings. We can see that Oscar is now solidified first place with 14 points, and at this point, no one can actually catch up to him. So this is a good game, good round, good season to Oscar here. Stefan, though, still vying for second place against Heartbreaker. He has the superior record, so if points are tied, and if you don't know, you get 2 points for a win and 1 point for a tie. Of course, a loss is 0. Um, Oscar or Stefan has the superior record to Heartbroken Kid. So even if Heartbreaker is able to get, tie it up in points, unless he significantly improves his record and Stefan's record goes down, it looks like he won't be able to pass him. And then bringing up the middle of the pack, we have Heater, Kelsey, and Chris. And then at the bottom, vying for the delight that is relegation into the lower divisions. We have Cabana, Blue Anthrax, Flume, and Dutch Goku, all in a close race for last. And yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for joining us to watch this, especially Timmy, and congrats to Oscar for winning the division. Kyogre is just been a phenomenal pick in draft every season. I won with Kyogre last season in champs, and the season before that was also another Kyogre win. It's just such a dominant Pokemon and provides a lot of coverage to later build around as the rounds progress.
Oh yeah, definitely. And congratulations to Oscar. And yeah, what a great battles today.
And I just want to point out that even though the season, in terms of the results, have concluded, we will be showing the rest of the matches because we don't want to invalidate the hard work of all of our battlers. We will show the other matches just to see where all the chips fall and with the full standings later on May 7th. But I just want to give a quick shout out to our staff who helped produce this. Dave, yes, that is the correct pronunciation. GCB, Polar Bears, and of course our producer for today, Rar Books, who did a lot of work behind the scenes to help prepare this that you all didn't get to see. And of course, yeah, thank you to MathMagic10. If you haven't already done so, make sure you follow him on Twitter and on Twitch. I think the social links have been in the chat. But yeah, let's find someone to raid, shall we?
Yeah.
Who do we have up? Who's live right now?
You have Empoleon Dynamite and Go Stadium.
We have Go Stadium. How do we feel about Go Stadium, chat? Doesn't it seem like a suitable? I mean, what are they showing right now? A little GBL, something else,
Yeah,
perhaps a
pretty much
limited
GPL.
format
No,
GBL.
pretty much GPL. Yep.
Let's see. Let's get some. Can we get some recommendations? Uh, for raid. You want us to raid Pogo Oscar in honor of? Does Oscar have a Twitch? I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, Pogue Oscar. Saturday night catches and chill. It doesn't look like they're doing GBL right now. Well, if there are no objections, I say we do Go Stadium. Probably is
Yeah.
our best bet.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah, let's do Go Stadium. And again, I just want to thank our production team and Math Magic for joining us today with his battling expertise. And for
No, thank you.
everybody watching,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure.
All right. Bye, everybody.
We're gonna catch you guys